All right, welcome back to Console Gaming League Alive by Nightfall Week 2 with the Dead by Daylight 8-week tournament series. I am your host, Hanrose Dav, and next to me I have...
Hi, I am Psychona. I was in the last week of this tournament, and since I don't have to play until the 9th, I decided to help out with casting. It'll be a really fun time, and hopefully we see some really exciting games today.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for commentating with me this week. Let's take a look and see who we have on the bracket. If in chat, if you put command bracket, you should be able to see everyone that is competing today. Our first teams looks like Killer is starting off with the throwers. Looks like we have Glyph just kind of waiting here. And within the lobby with him as well, the team they are competing against is Los Niños. Now, what we could do is kind of go over some of the rules that has been curated for this tournament. Again, this is an 8-week qualifier. There are 8 weeks to qualify for a top 8 finale. If you fail to qualify, you may keep entering within the incoming weeks. If you qualify 1 week, that means that you secure a spot in top 8 finale. You may not enter again, meaning if you win first place 1 week, you can't enter again, means that you're good for the top 8 finale. Now, please keep in mind that not all games are going to be streamed, so your team captain must report scores on a spreadsheet. If a bug happens and kill your friends, it interrupts the game. Teams will both decide if they want to restart the game. If there's an issue, please contact a TO. We do have a Discord. If you put command DBD Discord, it should pop up right there. So for each team, looks like it's players of 4 or 5. 4 survivors, 1 killer. 1 person has to be the team captain and report the scores. If a team only has 4 people, 1 teammate can play survivor and killer. Max 4 to 16 teams every week. Now, for the point system, which me and my co-commentator, what we're going to be doing is making sure that we keep up with the points, make sure that we give you guys all the inside action. It's what's going on during the match. So survivor point systems, 1 gen pop is 2 points. Escapes per match are 2 points. So that means max of 18 points per match. Killer points, looks like it is per hook 1 point, and death is also 1 point, meaning that per match 16 points will be rewarded to the killer.
Yes. Keep in mind with the killer point system that you are actually discounted hooks if you are caught camping or like trying to negate unhooks altogether. This does not mean that you tell someone off a hook, you will still get full points for that. However, if you are actively camping the hook or preventing the other survivors from getting the hook, you will only get 2 points, 1 for first hook and 1 for the death.
Mm-hmm. Let's also take a look here. Oh, this is really interesting. No survivor repeats. Everyone must be a different survivor. In case of a survivor disconnected due to a rage quit or connection issue, the remaining hook points plus death point of that survivor will be rewarded to the killer. Let's take a look here. Oh, same with... Survivors are only allowed to have 2 of the same perks across the team, meaning if you're using Dead Hard, only 2 teammates can use Dead Hard, and say if you want to use Sprint Burst, only 2 teammates can use Sprint Burst. No offerings are allowed to be played whatsoever, so unfortunately we won't be seeing any Moris at all within the next couple of weeks. Also, no keys and chests are banned. Maps are randomly chosen from a generator, chosen from Balanced Realms. So it looks like we have Dead Dog, Macmillan, Crotus Pen, Cold Wind, Red Forest, and it looks like there's 15 different map options in total. And then to determine which team will play killer first during their set, a coin toss will happen.
Yes, and as for killer add-ons, and also an addendum to the killer point system that I forgot to mention earlier, survivors attempting to kill themselves or escape off a hook for any hook state that is that's accrued through that process is awarded to the killer. If a killer gets a full Mori off with all 5 stacks of Devour, they get the full 3 points for all the hook states. If they have a Rancor, you only get 1 point for the death. Being slugged does not count towards hook points, and again, there's no penalty for tunneling. As of now, there's also a new system where 3 random killers will be banned each week. This week, we actually have Spirit, Clown, and Doctor.
Ooh, banned? That's interesting.
Yep. Seems like there's a theme here. Although it is random, you seem to have 3 pretty strong anti-looping killers. that are banned this week. So that will be a little bit interesting to see what all is played. Personally, I still think Nurse is going to be played quite a bit because she is just that good. And
I
speaking
agree.
of Nurse, killers like Nurse, Spirit, and Hag, their add-ons are only limited to yellow and below. Trapper and Wraith can have purple add-ons and below, and every other killer can have green add-ons and below. So if you play Oni, you play Scout Top Knot, that's your choice. You're allowed to do it.
Let me take a look here as well. Oh, it does say here, which I thought was really interesting, all killers will be allowed in the finale. So that's definitely going to be a bloodbath during week 8.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the rules. Now we will be reminding people of the rules throughout the tournament, just in case if something has a tendency to happen. But I will post the rules and everything in the Twitch chat. That way, if you guys would like to follow along, definitely call us out if there's something that we didn't call out. Say if there's a hook pop, or not hook pop, generation. Oh my God, I'm like smelling toast over here. If there's a gen pop that we did not call out, or if there's something funky that you guys noticed, don't be afraid to call us out. But other than that, I think we are ready to go. So it looks like our first match is going to be the Throwers versus the Los Niños.
With the Throwers being on killer for this first round, we have the Glyph. Very, very scary opponent to go against. He was an amazing Nurse in last week. And quite frankly, I'm ready to see what he pulls out this week as well.
Now with Nurse, like you would think that Nurse would have been banned this week just because, I mean, last week for me personally, that was my first time seeing Nurse being like so aggressive. I didn't even realize how powerful like her teleport was. You would think that she would be like an anti-looping type killer as well.
So she is a killer that you can loop. The problem is though, is that the way that she's played, she can negate a lot of the tactics that a lot of survivors can use to loop a killer. But at the same time, there are ways to counter player just as easily. But when I say easily, I mean you have to pretty much not know what you're doing when you're looping her. Because if you don't know what you're doing, she doesn't know what you're doing. And she is a killer that involves a lot of patience.
Let's take a look here. So it looks like we are just loading up into this first match. Guys, please keep in mind as well, because this is an online tournament, we are always bound to have some type of technical issue. So if that does happen, please be patient with us. But it looks like we are going to load in here in just a moment. And then, of course, we'll be letting people within like our audience know like perks, what's going on, all that good stuff. All the nice action's going to be happening in the matches. I do wonder if we're going to see any uncommon perks this match, though, or at least
uncommon perks.
Yes.
I would love to see Repressed Alliance in play. As I know, we have to go into spectator mode to be able to see all the action that is going to be going on in this match. And it looks like we're going to be starting off on McMillan, specifically Groaning Storehouse. And is that... Oh, we're starting off with a Pyramid Head. It looks like he's running double range add-ons as well. This is going to be very interesting. Perks being ran today are Corrupt Intervention, Ruin, Sloppy Butcher, and Noed. He's going for a pretty decent slowdown build, as well as a pretty strong endgame perk if all the tomes are not cleansed up by the very end of the game.
Oh, I just like the variety of survivors we're seeing too. It's so exciting. I don't think we saw is it Adam? I don't think we saw in Adam.
That's a tap.
Yeah. Ooh, a tap. Detective Tap. Yes.
That's Detective Tap. We have not seen him last week at all, from what I remember.
No, not at all. And that is a Saw character as well.
It very much is. And he's actually one of the more quiet characters in the game, which is surprising as to why he has not been played. Also, it looks like the wrong map has been picked.
Oh, no.
But this one will be played out.
Okay. So it looks like for this Claudette, we do have... Take a look here. I apologize. I have the perk dictionary up on my second monitor.
Okay, so for the perks that this Claudette is currently running, we have Unbreakable, Borrowed Time, Dead Heart, and Iron Will. Pretty strong meta build. outside of no decisive strike. So if he chooses to tunnel this Claudette, there's no real charge that they have. There's no real chance that they have to really negate that. Also, chat, is there any in-game audio? Because I don't seem to hear any on my end. So if there's a gen pop, we need that's 2 points for the survivor side right now. And also looks like there's going to be a hook state onto the Nancy, which will be given 1 point to the throwers. Oh, looks like they found the ruin and they're actually about to cleanse it. This task build is actually pretty interesting. So he's running Detective Hunt, Spine Chill, Lithe, and Prove Thyself.
What are your favorite perks since you competed last week?
My favorite perks, Killer or Survivor.
Survivor. What do you typically use?
One of my favorite perks that I will almost always use if I have the chance is Repressed Alliance. If you don't know where Repressed Alliance is, it is a perk that once you've repair a generator for 60 seconds, Repressed Alliance is able to be used. And what it does is it blocks a generator for 30 seconds. It blocks any gen regression as well. So even if the killer is running Ruin, once you use that perk on a generator, it will pause the it will pause the regression status for 30 seconds. And I can see my friend Juicy already saying that I am already talking about my favorite break in the game. But all in all, it is a perk that can actually save a lot of games, especially if you can never find Ruin, which this Detective Tap is running a perk that actually running one of the perks that helps find totems pretty well. That's Detective's Hunch. The perk on the far left. What this does is that when the regenerator is completed, you see all totem spawns, chests, generators, all items on the map for 10 seconds.
That's nice. That's a really useful perk.
Yes, and especially because you cannot use maps at all during the tournament due to the fact that the lowest rarity are green. The Texas Hunch is a perk that comes in real handy.
I always find myself using Spine Chill every time I'm Survivor, just because, what is it? Is it 32 meters? Anytime that the killer is looking at you, you can definitely see if they're looking in your direction.
I believe it may be a little bit larger than that. However, it's within a 45-degree radius that if they're looking at you, and I believe it is 32 meters actually,
36.
The Spine Chill will proc, and you'll get a 6% boost in gen repair, healing, exit gate opening, vaulting, pretty much everything you can think of.
That's nice.
Which paired with the perk like resilience is really, really strong.
Let's go ahead and look back at the killer real quick. And again, this killer is Pyramid Head. Me and Video Games Joe, we didn't see this killer last time.
We didn't see this killer at all last week, and he's actually a really good killer. One little thing about Pyramid Head that a lot of people really don't talk about is the fact that his entire kit is pretty good for actually tunneling, especially once you are able to get a Survivor Tormented. What happens is if Survivor is Tormented, they are sent to a cage for first of all, it counts as a hook state, but also once they are out of the cage, any perk like Decisive Strike, Borrowed Time, it does not apply, which is a very interesting mechanic. And also, if they're on Death Hook and they're also tormented, then you can have a Mori done by Pyramid Head that will count for the final hook state.
Now, do they have to have Mori in order for them to do that? Or is it just a perk that's like, oh?
No, not even a perk. No, it's just a Pyramid Head specific mechanic.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes. It is very strong. However, because of Pyramid Head's design, it typically is a little bit harder for this pull off. Also,
we got a self.
Looks like Oh, we do have a self healer. That's 4 gens done, and looks like the Pyramid Head currently has 6 hook states. Also, let's see what the Pyramid Head is up to, because it looks like he is currently looking for someone else after this unhook. That's a nice little silent ball from Nancy.
That was nice.
He has an idea that the Nancy is there, but he doesn't know where she is, and still doesn't know. This Nancy is a very, very sneaky person.
Very, very sneaky. Love to see the stealth. Oh, and then they go to Jen. Okay. Nancy definitely knows what they are doing. Looks like the player playing Nancy is called Crap Talker. You'd love to see it.
Crap Talker.
Toxic.
If they're anything like one of my previous teammates, then we're expected to see a lot of BM happen.
Oh yeah, feel free to roast them as well if you see your teammates. Feel free to roast them as much as you'd like.
Oh please. we encourage it here.
Yes, we encourage the friendly toxicity is what I like to say.
Very much friendly. As long as you don't cross the line where it gets a little bit personal, or just flat out attacking anybody.
Now, do you think with this game that it can be like, what do you think are some more toxic traits when it comes to being killer?
When it comes to being killer, you know what? When it comes to being killer, I do notice one toxic trait that people tend to have is they will let survivors get in their head a little bit too much, and because of that, they'll start playing a little bit worse, and they'll get frustrated, which will end up in them essentially throwing the game and kind of just face camping people for no real reason.
So patience is what's needed to be killer.
Yes. A little amount of patience and just kind of realizing that there are a lot of things that you may not be able to control. There are a lot of things that survivors may do that realistically, depending on how they play, you can always capitalize off of it.
I like that this Pyramid Head took a complete shortcut, and here we go. Hit one
back on the Nancy.
I like that they took a shortcut right over the hill. Yeah.
But he's not going to commit to the chase. Is there even a 3-gen? I don't think there's a 3-gen for him to hold here.
I know she got started on that one.
It looks like he's going back to gen. Looks like they're actually going to try to commit to the gen and try to finish it. However, and now notice since all generators have been completed, he's going to pursue after this Claudette. If he gets a hit on it, and there it is.
So we're
the free hooks down Claudette. Yes, there are 5 generators. On the map, there are actually 7 generators.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So,
okay.
And because I don't think there was an actual 3-gen on the map to be had, they were able to finish the last generator pretty easily compared to other situations where maybe the survivors didn't keep the best track of where all the generators were. It looks like they also cleansed NOED.
And I will say it looks like there's a hook, so I do see that there is 1 point for the throwers.
There'll be 1 extra point for throwers, and if they die on this hook, then that'll be another point for Nancy's, or for the death of Claudette.
Yes.
And it looks like they're gonna take 1 man now at least.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I was on the right track. All right. Oh, there's 3 escapes. Oh my goodness, and then there's 1.
3 escapes. And that, if I remember correctly, there are also 2 other survivors on death hook, and then 1 hook on the Nancy, if I believe.
Ooh, and there's 1 death. Okay.
That's actually a really, really solid score for a Pyramid Head.
Oh, absolutely.
Pyramid Head is one of the harder killers to actually play, and especially to get a lot of gen pressure on, especially against a team that is communicating pretty well. He is a very good killer, however, just like killers like Deathslinger or killers like Doctor, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of being able to end the chase faster than you probably can with killers like Huntress or Nurse or Billy that can take advantage of distances more so than Pyramid Head can.
I was just about to say, because I feel like with Pyramid Head, he definitely has some really, really good range, just like Deathslinger, Huntress, most definitely.
No.
No?
No, actually,
No?
no.
Tell me.
His powers range is actually really short. Deathslinger has a range of 18 meters. Huntress can just shoot across the map, but Pyramid Head at its base, I believe his power is 8 meters.
Whoa. Okay. I had no idea. That's crazy. I guess when being a survivor, it looks bigger than like what it is,
It
but 8
does.
meters? That's crazy.
It does. That's also why he was running double range for Pyramid Head as well, because
Okay.
a lot of other Pyramid Head's add-ons really don't do anything, but double range for Pyramid Head makes his power significantly longer. It's not double the size by any means, but it's significantly longer.
Wow, that's incredible. I had no idea. Thank you for letting me know about that too. Definitely gonna have to research that a little bit more. But no, I'm really happy that we saw a pyramid head because we didn't see your pyramid head at all last week. Last week we saw an Oni. We did see
That
a
was
nurse.
me.
Yes. Which I was so happy. I'm like, yes, we finally get to see an Oni because Oni's one of the killers that personally scares me a lot just because that deafening roar that he just has, and just the way that he chases, and just like he's just so beautifully designed and everything within the game. And like, I got really, really hype on commentary. I'm like, I just got so excited. I am excited to see a pyramid head, but we saw you as the Oni. We did see the nurse. We did see. Did we see a doctor? I think we saw.
We
a
did.
Doctor.
There was a doctor, and they were running a possible skill check build, which was a very interesting sight to see.
Mhm.
I never thought I would actually see an impossible skill check doctor in a tournament setting, but here we are. We've also seen a legion, and there was
Yes.
also a spirit.
Yes, one spirit, one legion.
Personally, outside of all that, I would love to see Plague. I would love to see someone make Plague work. Plague is a good killer. However, she is one of the harder killers to actually get a lot of value out of because of a little bit of inconsistencies with her power. It seems like sometimes her power hits, sometimes it just doesn't when it should.
Okay.
Even if they don't use that hard. There's also that little bit of aspect where she has the same weakness as Pyramid Head, where her map pressure is not exactly the best unless all she can really do is just puke on a generator, puke on survivors, and then just leave and then just wait for them to get infected and for everyone to be one shot. Which she can do a lot easier than killers like Legion or Huntress. And soon to be Trickster, actually.
Yes, and guys, keep in mind if you are whether you're a casual, competitive, or you just really like Dead by Daylight in general, March 30th is when the Trickster comes out and with its Survivor. I'm really excited. How are you feeling about the new Survivor and the new killer, of course?
The new killer? Okay, so new killer aesthetically amazing. However, I do have a really strong feeling he's going to fall really short compared to a lot of other killers. He's going to get played because he's a new killer and people want to like try to make him work, and in Publix it's really easy. However, when it comes to actual coordinated teams, he's going to be a lot harder to play with. Perk wise as well, honestly, I think there's only one perk I saw in there that I want to see how people will use it, and that's Smash Hit. That is Yunjin's new perk that whenever you stun a killer with the pallet, you get pretty much a sprint burst for 4 seconds. The significance of it is that other perks like Life, Balance Landing, and Sprint Burst, you get the speed boost for 3 seconds.
That's incredible. Okay.
Yep, and that actual 1 second is actually gonna give you a lot of distance mid chase. And I want to see how good that perk can really be compared to its counterparts. I highly doubt it's going to rival Sprint Burst and Dead Hard, but I feel like it's going to be more useful than Balance Landing or Life in some situations.
Yeah, I'm reading on it right now. It says after stunning the killer with a pallet, break into a sprint 150% of your normal running speed for maximum 4 seconds. That's a good amount of time.
Yeah, that is pretty decent amount of time, especially because the pallet stun will lock a killer in animation.
Yep.
Which means whatever distance you get, you can maintain for a while.
Shit causes the exhaust status effect for several seconds. I learned about that recently because when you use Sprint Burst, you're exhausted for about 1 minute, 60 seconds or something. Well, I mean that's the same thing, but
40 seconds at its max, or 40 seconds at its least. 1 minute at its highest penalty.
So explain the exhausted status effect. How does that work whenever you're a survivor? Just for the people who don't really know out there.
So all the exhausted side effect actually does, it just means that you can't use your perks like life, balance landing, sprint burst, dead hard, and soon to be smash hit. That's all it really means. It doesn't mean anything else. It's not like hindered that slows you down. It's not like hemorrhage or mangled that either makes you bleed out longer or bleed out more or affects your healing speed. It just makes sure that you can't use your exhaustion perks.
Okay, so it's kind of like you just stop at this wall for just a little bit and then you can continue using your perks.
Essentially, yes. If you're able to actually recover your exhaustion by either just walking, standing still, being in a locker, with whatever case may be, you are actually able to recover your exhaustion that way. And after the required amount of time, you can use your perks all over again. I also forgot about another exhaustion perk that is only used for memes, and that's Head On.
For memes?
Yes.
Do
Head
tell.
On is a perk that when you stun someone when you stun someone from coming out of a locker, that's all it does. It allows you to stun a killer from coming out of a locker, fast actioning out of a locker. This is used a lot in just meme builds like...
Oh, it's a chain perk. This is a toxic perk, isn't it?
No, okay, it can be. It's not a perk that is like super practical in a lot of situations, but if you really feel like bullying, you really feel like bullying a team, honestly, Head On is kind of funny. It can be irritating to go against sometimes because you just know that if there's one Head On, there's probably about one or two more. And it can be really... it can mess with you a little bit because you're scared to go near lockers. Or you're scared to pick up a survivor if they're in front of a locker because then you're gonna think, oh, this person's gonna Head On stun me. Or something like that. It's just a time.
That's a lot to keep in mind. That's hilarious, and it's a lot to keep in mind whenever you're a killer too, because you kind of just have to like put 2 and 2 together, basically.
Yes, I mean it's not a perk that is ran so much to the point where I just expect it, but when it's ran, you're kind of like on your toes.
Yes,
you're just waiting for someone to come out of a locker and stun you.
Waiting for it to happen, just right there.
Yes. Oh, it looks like the next match is actually starting.
Yes, so it looks like Los Niños is going to play the killer, and then the throwers, they are going to be survivor. So we're going to focus on camera frame with the killer. That way it could be a little bit easier when it comes to keeping up with points, and keeping up with the killer, just seeing what they're doing. We are listening to chat. Please keep in mind what you guys are seeing now. There's going to be like a couple second delay, about 15 seconds max, if anything. So again, if there's something that you guys want to see or something that is caught off guard, just let us know.
Surely. And we're now moving on to this next match, which will be pretty fun because if I know anything about third survivors, they know how to get around the map and be pretty efficient.
Yes, they do. The throwers, oh, there's just sweats. I'm really good friends with their team captain and Dinah as well. Glyph and Sakura, I'm still kind of getting used to seeing and everything, but I'm really happy to see. It's just like, and me and Jordan kind of had this issue last time. We're not going to be biased as commentators, but I am mentally cheering on my friends and everything too.
Oh, we're seeing a Huntress.
Yeah. Yes, you love to see it.
This perk is interesting. We love this perk loadout. So they're running Corrupt Intervention, Barbecue and Chili, Goes Weasel, and Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden. The one perk in this build that is probably the odd man out because you almost never see this perk, but on Huntress, it's really good because what this does is it reduces your locker opening speed by 50%, I believe, and any survivor that comes out of a locker is exposed for 30 seconds due to a recent buff.
Oh, okay.
So let's say a survivor does happen to go in a locker for whatever reason, and they come out. Yeah, let's say they're running Head On for some reason, and they come out of it, the Huntress will get notification that someone actually came out of a locker, and they'll be exposed for 30 seconds, which means Huntress does not have to throw a hatchet. All she has to do is just hit them with the regular M1 and instant death.
Okay.
Pop Goes Weasel, a pretty common perk to actually be ran, especially in higher level games. And what this does is after you hook somebody, for 45 seconds, you can go to a generator and kick it, and it will regress 25% automatically. And then it'll just go through the normal regression penalty, which is, I believe, 1 charge a second. So if a generator is on 99%, it will cut down the necessary time to repair a generator from, I believe, 54 seconds. No, 9 to 54 seconds left to repair the generator.
We haven't seen any gen pops yet, but it looks like this Huntress is just throwing axes left and right. Oh, actually, I spoke too soon. That's 1 gen pop. That's 2 points to survivors.
Yep, that's another thing about Huntress too, is that she's an incredibly hard killer to play, especially against survivors who know what they're doing. A lot of maps actually are not that great for Huntress, especially one like this where there are a lot of loops, a lot of lines of sight blockage, that all they have to do is hit a corner and she can't hit them. And it looks like she is having a little bit of time figuring out who to chase. And it looks like that's gonna be down, and is she actually gonna hook and get some Pop Goes Weasel value? Not yet. Unless the survivor has We're Gonna Live Forever, they shouldn't be able to pick her up yet, and she's going for hook. She is going for the hook. That'll be 1 point coming in for the Huntress, and 4 points for the survivors on the throwers.
Nice.
And it looks like she's gonna chase with Nia. Ooh, that hatchet was close. Early pallet drop, that is smart. One counter play for the Huntress is you do want to kind of just drop pallets early, because once you're if you decide to drop a pallet while the Huntress is loading a hatchet literally in your face, she can, once you're locked in the animation, you are the easiest target in the world. And the same thing with catching you out on locker window vaults as well.
I apologize. I was just about to say, I'm just so excited because I feel like we, just like someone who plays the game very casually, I feel like seeing a Huntress is extremely uncommon.
You know what? And I have to agree with you. I do see Huntress a little bit more than a lot of other players do. So, and you would think that as much as I see her, that I would be better against playing against her, but sometimes I do panic. I do. I get scared because I don't know if she's gonna like throw a hatchet at me, or if she's gonna come around the corner and straight up end me.
Yes.
But also a lot of Huntress I run into also tend to run no aid, which this one is not. That's a little bit surprising to me. Oh,
It's a very common perk as well.
it is, but it's primarily used with killers that primarily use their M1. Also, I want to talk about the Huntress' add-ons real quick, because it's a pretty strong add-on combination. So what she's running is Okat and Flower Babushka. Both of them affect her hatchet throwing and also her hatchet cooldown speed. So she's able to pretty much launch out more hatchets way faster than normal. And also, that was a really nice hit onto Glyph there.
That was a nice shot. My goodness.
And right now, that is 3 points for the Huntress and 4 gens done from the side of the throwers. Will she be able to actually get some Pop Goes Weasel value? It's a possibility of not, because I do know with the thrower that they do like to stack on gens. And ooh,
Oh, I just saw that. That was incredible.
That was nasty. Are they?
They grouped and she threw it and it hit the janitor and it hit one of the survivors. I wonder, did it hit 2 of them at the same time?
No, it only hit the Claudette. Also, it looks like Dino finally learned her lesson and started running DS. Sorry.
You go, Dino. We're proud of you. You go, baby.
Let's go.
We stand decisive strike. We stand DS.
And now that is 10 extra points. That is 10 points for the throwers to Los Niños 3 points. Well, let's see if they're able to actually get more hook value, get more hook points out of this.
Absolutely.
She's getting greedy, but she's also just going to try to force survivors at the gate. Maybe catch one out if she can. She will not be able to catch out this arena. She has to make sure that Dinah does not get hatched. She has to make sure of this. Because any points that she can get right now, it matters.
Oh, every time I see that axe fly by. Oof. It's really scary.
It looks like she's actually going to go back for the hook now. Is Dinah anywhere out of sight? Will they actually be able to find Dinah? Or is Dinah going to get hatched?
I have a tendency to do that personally for me because I mainly play Survivor. I always try to hide in the grass just like a cheeky little like. Oh!
And there it is. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
And that's a 4-man escape.
Survivor's got 18 points this match. That was insane.
And I believe Dinah only got, not Dinah, Los Niños only got 3 points. So that would be 26 for the throwers and 19 for the Niños.
Yes.
Which means throwers will be advancing to this next round.
But
now I'm curious who are they actually going to be going against next, though?
Yes. Let me go ahead and bring up the bracket real quick. I know I have it up here somewhere. There it is. Okay. So next here. So the throwers would end up going against Vendetta. Looks like the Sweat Lures versus Vendetta. Looks like Vendetta came out on top of that one.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Well, Vendetta's going to be a team to look out for them because last I remember, the Sweat Lords actually took they took throwers out for a run for their money.
They did, yes, most definitely.
Huh. Well, that's good. That's going to be interesting to look at then.
Yeah, for Vendetta, I don't think were they on last week's bracket, if I'm not mistaken?
Don't think so.
What to say, they look very unfamiliar. Everyone else except for Frostbite, Team Exodus, Atomi, and Vendetta, I don't recognize those. So we got some new teams. That's really exciting.
We do.
Yes. That's
we do have some new teams. I'm actually really curious to see who all won their matches.
Yes. Let me put the bracket in, and then I'll put
Exodus
it in.
went against Frostbite, as they should. And it looks like Saga and Tomi have not been decided yet, and we see that is going to be Doors against Vendetta next.
Oh,
ooh, God, that's going to be exciting. I'm wondering if what they're actually going to pull out next. I'm wondering if Glyph is going to pull out his nurse again.
That would be really exciting.
Ooh. Looks like the next match we're streaming is Saga Corruption versus
Tomi. Yes.
Tomi. Okay. I remember facing Saga Corruption. Actually, that was the team I believe I played Oni against.
Yes, it was.
Now, hopefully, the killer has better luck than me and doesn't get corn. But it's fine. I'm not salty, but it's fine.
Oh my goodness. And now I want to ask you, because you were competing last week, what was your mindset while you were competing, while you were in the brackets? Like, how did you feel while you were playing with your teammates and then playing killer?
Okay, so for one thing, I'm just gonna really express this. I was really mad that every single map that I got was corn. So the first thing was I was really hyper focusing on just trying not to lose survivors. Because one thing about corn is that it's really easy for people to be immersed and just not be seen whatsoever, which was a problem I actually had when going against Saga Corruption. Was they hid really well in areas that I didn't look to find them. At some point, I'm pretty sure they walked past me in plain sight because I just could not see them. Depending on the map that actually they're going to be getting next, it actually may be a lot easier for this next killer, which for whoever is killing first, will actually be able to find these survivors so much faster.
If they get the corn level.
No, if they get anything else but corn.
Oh, but
even,
corn.
Even if they get dead dog, it might be easier.
Yeah. And since if I'm not mistaken, did you say you primarily play killer? Yes.
Yes. I am the killer, or was the killer, still am the killer actually for Los Randys. Because I was a little bit worried about who I was going against, I did play nurse a lot. And I think the biggest mindset I had was mainly playing for hook points, mainly playing for hook states. Being greedy was not something that I could have done, even though that's something I normally do every single time I play for killer. I am greedy. I will go for any slug on the planet if I can. If I have the option to leave all 4 people on the floor, I will, and then hook them later.
We were kind of seeing a little bit of that somewhat last week, where we were seeing just people getting slugged left and right with survivors, and then just having them all hooked, and then just kind of going from there. That's a really good tactic. That's really smart.
It's a decent tactic, but it's one that can be easily punished because of the fact that once you slug someone, all the survivors have to do is just gain distance. And if you choose to get greedy and gain that distance, another survivor can come in and pick up that one slug. And if the survivor knows how to run the killer long enough, that slugging's for nothing. And you've probably went from having a possible 2-man to having nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hard to deal with, but it's something that when playing in this kind of tournament, you have to really keep in mind that slugging is something that will work in public games a lot, but it's not going to work all the time, especially against survivors that, well, let's be honest, will think twice before picking someone up before finishing a generator.
Mm-hmm. And while I was studying and researching this game, which I do play, I just wanted to get a little bit more technical with it. I did watch this video, and I did post it in the CGL Dead by Daylight Discord. It's what not to do. And it's so funny because for me, being a casual and going into ranked matches just for shiz and, giggles for fun and everything, I didn't realize that grouping up was a bad thing.
It is. It really is.
I didn't realize.
I cannot tell you how many games I have played in public matches where survivors would just group up, and then I'm just sitting here like, oh, it's free real estate. Especially because I tend to run perks like Infectious Fright a lot, which gives you the location of survivors within your terror radius whenever one gets downed. So with that kind of thing, if you're grouped up, it is super easy to snowball. It is super easy to just get a 4-man before any gen is done, before any gen even gets touched, mind you.
And it also talked about prioritizing as well, specifically because we talked about this last week, that this game is a team game. And now I did say that if you mainly use a perk, which I am a 1-day Claudette main, she's the first character I ever picked. But hang on.
Fair. No, it's okay. It's okay. You could have said Matt, but you said Claudette. It's fine.
I changed. I mainly play Felix, or I'll play Steve now because I feel more comfortable. And actually, how I met Autumn GX, which Autumn is, she's part of the Kunoichi. She's actually created this event and everything with Candy, with CGL, and the Kunoichi girls and everything, which we greatly appreciate. So big shout out to them for giving this the opportunity for us to commentate for this wonderful tournament. I will say I was using self-care a lot, and she kind of taught me to prioritize. She's like, Hannah, what are you doing? Like, I'm on a hook. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna self-heal. And she's like, no, like, you need to stop. Either go get a gen. She's like, you know what? I have 30 seconds left. Just come and get me. Like, just come get me off the hook, and we'll go do a gen or something. Like, so from her guidance, and especially with Saki Sakura TV's guidance, because I played with her a lot as well, just kind of learning how to prioritize and be like a teammate. I mean, with self-care, like, you can be quite, dare I say, toxic sometimes, because like it's like that's why I compared it last week. It's like driving, because you are focusing mainly on yourself, but you really should be focusing on your team, because it is a team-based game.
Yes, one killer actually that will really punish you if you're used to that you have to be healed to do literally everything placed out is plague. With
Yeah.
plague, you start to learn really quick that you have to power through things injured. You
Yes.
can't just spend all game cleansing, because especially because if you spend all game cleansing, you give her a power, and she never has to run out of it. The second someone's infected, shit, that's an easy down. She doesn't even have to hit her with the M1. She can just puke on them. They're down. The another person that chooses to work on everything injured, because that's how you ideally want to play. You want to try to make her an M1 killer, because then she's a lot easier to loop in that regard. They're down. Meanwhile, the two people that are cleansing just sitting there looking like they're doing everything right, but they probably just got their team killed.
Yeah. Just because they felt the need to cleanse or they felt the need to heal because, oh my God, I'm injured. I can't do anything. Actually, some perks work, if I'm not mistaken, they work better when you're injured.
Yes, resilience is one of them.
Mhm.
When you're injured and you're running resilience, what it does is it gives, it's kind of like how Spine Chill gives you a 6% boost on everything. Resilience gives you a 9% boost on literally everything.
That's
while
nice.
you're injured.
Mhm.
To that degree, one tactic that people tend to use is just 99ing yourself on the heal and just doing your objectives while injured, and then just finishing yourself whenever you actually need to.
Yeah.
And then extending out whatever chase you're in. Which can be very, very fun.
Yeah. So guys, definitely think about that. If you're the type of person that's just, I have to heal, I have to heal, I have to heal. Think about the things that you need to do on like during the match before you actually feel the need to heal. Now, I will say something that I also learned from Autumn as well is that when it comes to opening the door, say if there's some teammates that are hurt, always doing the door at least at 99.
Yes.
Try to heal everyone and then escape because you get more points. That is
Yes.
that's a really good tactic.
Another reason why, and here's another thing, another reason why you want to do that is because what you want to do is make sure that, first of all, everyone gets out, and also that everyone, doesn't get hooked. Because of the perk Blood Warden, which is a Freddy teachable, the amount of times I have had one teammate open the door, like just trying to get out because maybe they had a challenge or something, bless their heart. They open the door, the killer hooks someone that's down, and next thing you know, no one can leave the match for an extra 1 minute. Paired with the perk like NOED, this can definitely be one of the biggest kick to the balls you can ever have. And you're probably going to look at the teammate that opened the door and you really just want to DOS them at this point, because there's no way that you bold face just open the door and now this killer got Blood Warden value and everyone's dead because no one can get out. But this is also something that isn't ran like super often either. It often is ran with NOED.
And then
so be more about that one.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I will say, it looks like we do have a question in chat. It says, it sounds silly, but how do you get the hatch to open up? They said it's been years since they've last played it, and they know they've
okay. Game. So there's been changes. So for the hatch to open up, I'm pretty sure the basic mechanics haven't changed. So for the hatch to open, you have to be the last survivor in the trial. The hatch open that way, or depending on the numbers, you can use the key to get the hatch. So what I mean by that is all generators have to be done. Let's say all 4 survivors are alive. All generators have to be done. The hatch spawns. 3 are alive. 1 generator has to be remaining. Or 4 gens done. 3 survivors alive. Hatch spawns. You can open it with a key. Same thing with 2 gens left and 2 survivors left. You can open a hatch with a key. Anything other than those numbers, it does not work. So you can't have like 3 survivors open and 3 gens left and hatch spot. Like, no, that does not happen.
I've only gotten through the hatch maybe on stream, maybe once, just would kill your friends, but maybe a few times. If I'm on the go, this is a question I asked Jordan as well when we commentated last week. How are some ways you play DBD? Because for me, lately, I've been finding myself playing on Switch if I'm on the go, but I do mainly play it on PC.
I mainly play it on PC. I actually did start playing on Xbox, but like at the time, I was like what ranked 19, and I stopped playing the game because I hated it so much. I think there was like a lot of Myers, and I was like, I hate it. I don't want to play this game anymore. This dude's just staring at me.
I hate it here.
And now it's one of those things where I'm a little bit better about it, but every time I face the twins, I have this blazing tendency to wait for her to release Victor so I can kick him and violently teabag. That's it. That's literally the only thing I do, and I mean violently teabag.
That's the tag.
Yes, and then get in her head rent free, and more often than not, it works.
I like how I remember when that chapter came out in the beginning. I was playing with Autumn, and they're like, "Hannah, kick the baby." I'm like, "Do what?" You have to kick the baby. And I'm like,
you have to kick the baby.
Yeah, you gotta kick the baby. And she told me that the developers or something didn't like being told that like, they didn't like that joke. But like, I mean, come on, like he looks like a little baby. Like, kick the baby.
Who doesn't like?
You gotta kick the baby sometimes, regardless. You just have to. You gotta kick the baby.
You have to release your anger. You have to just punt the.
You have to really punt
the big football across the map.
It's really just gotta really give it to him. Oh my goodness.
You really do, especially because he really is just out here trying to kill people. I don't like this. I don't like it. Kill him.
Just kick him. It's fine. He'll be fine.
It's fine. He'll be back in like 6 seconds. It's fine.
And speaking of the twins and everything, I have not had the chance to read their lore because, oh my god, it's like 10 pages in the game.
Their lore is interesting.
Have you read
their
it?
Lore
Talk about it.
I think I've read a little bit of it, but I haven't read enough to where it's like I remember it verbatim. But I remember it being seemingly interesting. Hold on. Actually, let's just pull it up. Why not?
Yeah, I have it up right here.
Ooh.
Looks like, well, of course, conjoined twins. 17th century. Take a look here. The twins emerged with Victor's lower body asphyxiated into the chest of his sister, legs twisted around her muscles and organs. Oof. Smaller than Charlotte, grown as if he were an appendant to her body than a fully formed boy. That's horrifying. I absolutely love like the details and the lore, like specifically with Felix. Like Felix has really, really long lore, like as well within the game.
Felix's lore is kind of funny because I did not realize he was an architect.
Yeah.
I never would have looked at him and just thought, oh, this is the architect. Same way I never would have looked at Jeff and thought he would actually, you know what, maybe. Where Jeff is like, oh, just a really shy boy. Just to himself, like he loves his rock, he loves going to concerts, but he's a total introvert. Just has a lot of social anxiety. And quite frankly, I agree. I identify with that heavily.
Absolutely. It's just common, absolutely. And he has really long lore as well. I will say, and let me ask you this too. My personal favorite lore to read is either Spirit or Plague. Who did you catch to be the most interesting? Plague?
Plague. Oh my god. The fact that she is literally the only killer in the game that actually sacrificed herself to the entity. She looked at the entity and said, please take me. And she just wanted to save her people.
For the good. Like she actually tried to do like a good thing.
Yeah, she actually sacrificed herself to save her own people. And that's probably the most admirable thing about her entire lore, which is also why I really want to figure out what she says during her Mori. Because apparently it's a really dead language, and she's calling out to the gods. I think about accepting her sacrifice or something like that.
I'm looking on the wiki now. I'm gonna post it into the Twitch chat as well. I don't know if it's gonna be able to say it, but I think it would be really cool to find it if possible. Oh, yep, it's on the screen. Let me see here. Oh, and thank you, Corbic, for the lore and everything too. Thank you for that. Oh, are we moving on to our next match? Yay!
I believe so.
Wonderful. So this match that we are going to be streaming.
We have the Survivor side of, I believe Atomi versus Saga Corruption.
Yes.
Survivor Side is homie, and the King of Luck and Saga is going to be their killer. Was it King that played Doctor for them? Or was it someone else? I'm trying to remember because I know Saga was the one that played out Doctor.
I don't remember. I can try looking back into the VODs.
Actually, I can look back in the VODs as well.
We also appreciate everyone hanging out and being here with us and being patient with our production team. We're all trying really hard to make sure that this tournament goes smoothly. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful time, just kind of chit-chatting with us, talking about the lore, talking about this game, and how brilliant it is and what the developers have done for us as a community and as players, new characters, new survivors, and keep in mind, on March 30th, we're going to have a new survivor and a new killer. It's going to be amazing. All right, Saga Corruption. Yes, they did have a doctor.
It was Doctor. It was King of Luck that played Doctor for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if he's going to do the same thing, if he's also going to run Impossible Skill Check Doctor.
Ooh, yes.
Here's a little fallacy about, what is it called? Impossible Skill Check Doctor is that when you get a little bit higher in the ranks, it starts to be a little harder to actually get value out of it because people are typically able to hit their skill checks more. Which is supposed to be mitigated a little bit by Hunter's Lullaby by delaying the sound effect of each skill check for each token that she gets. However, it just doesn't work sometimes, especially if people know that it exists, because it does alert you the second you get your first token.
And that overcharge perk just gets me every single time. That's when it makes it go backwards. Correct? The skill check goes backwards. No,
that's just a part of Doctor.
Oh, I thought that was the perk. I see now. Okay.
Nope. So that's one thing about Doctor. When you go into Madness, I believe depending on the add-ons he's running, it can sometimes happen earlier. But I believe Madness level 1, or at least level 2, you can start getting skill checks that spawn in like random parts of your screen. They can go backwards. They can just kind of rattle. You know, the skill checks start getting a little bit messed up. But then stuff like Overcharge and Oppression and Decisive, they all have specific skill checks that actually makes things a little bit harder to hit, and ideally is about the same size or a little bit larger than a great skill check.
That's incredible.
Oh,
and I do see... What's up?
That's a cute little fact in chat. So apparently conjoined twins are almost always the same sex. So either Charlotte or Victor is trans.
Oh,
that's interesting. I never actually knew that.
No, I had no idea. I will say thank you to Corbic and Anxious for these facts about the twins and everything too. Mother gets burned as a witch, get kidnapped, experimented on, and escape, but the male twin dies, and the female twin just continues to live with a decaying corpse attached to her. Oh my god!
That is...
Good lord, that's messed up.
That's brutal.
That is so brutal. Oh my goodness. Like to break a lot of... Oh, okay, so they have to restart the lobby.
Oh, DBD just broke. Dodge. I mean, I'm not really surprised because DBD just tends to do that, but at the same time, what can you do except just restart the game and try again?
Yep, every time.
and you repeating the part where you can just kick Victor. My favorite part of the game, just kicking Victor.
What a nice way to relieve some stress during a really tough DBD match.
Yes, you know, especially when Charlotte just decides that she just wants to keep launching Victor at me just because I'm injured. She thinks I can't run him.
Just
This you
yeet him
misses, you
every
just
single
hit.
time. Every single
It's
time.
so funny. This has become a Victor hate stream, and
A
I'm
Victor
here for
hate stream. Oh
it. Yes,
no.
Victor hate stream.
See here. Oh, and you. So, how often do you play Survivor? Who are some survivors that you play, and what perks do you typically use?
So I do play for Survivor sometimes. Also, whenever I play Survivor, I tend to play Nia, Kate. I used to play Felix. I sometimes play Steve, even though I have a little bit of a grudge against Steve's.
Really? Why? Let's talk about it.
That player base is toxic. I don't care.
What?
That entire
Really?
that player base is toxic. Like they're like almost every time I see a Jeff, they're almost always running object. Steve's are just the kind of people that just get in your head. They just love to get in your head for no reason. Especially if you saw it last week. Especially if you saw it last week.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Steve. Yes.
Yeah. One of my teammates who I was just staring at because whenever I practice against him, he can't either he doesn't or he just can't do that to me. But again, against everyone else, he was just all up in their head rent free.
I was wilding out. Like I loved every minute of it. Jordan and I, when we commented last week, we were just cracking up. I wonder if someone clipped it because this Steve was just going bananas.
That would be hilarious. Also, this is in Hannah. You cannot say "kick the baby."
I can't. Oh, oops.
Oh, he's not in Twitch chat.
Oh, whoops. Oopsie. Someone want to time me for a couple minutes? Oops.
Please.
But Dead by Daylight, it's a running meme. Everyone will know what it means. Of course, we do not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's an honest misunderstanding. I mean, we all say it. It's just we can't say it in Twitch chat. It's fine.
Just a disclaimer, we are not condoning any harm to children at all. It's just Victor. Oops.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, it doesn't like it allowed. Okay, if someone wants to time me, I am totally okay with that. If someone wants to take my sword for like a couple minutes.
Someone take her chat privileges away. Yui's. So using a baby just an overgrown you know what? We'll go with that. Overgrown tumor.
Yep, overgrown tumor. Yep. We can do that. 100%.
We will go with overgrown tumor.
Kick the overgrown tumor.
Yes, that is perfectly fine.
Sorry,
no. Please.
No.
Nope. Time him out too.
I have ruffled feathers. I apologize. So we're trying to focus on the tourney as much as we can. They're getting the
they're getting the lobby loaded in right now. We're actually getting closer being able to start this next round.
Yes.
It's just B became a Victor hate stan account. Okay, it's just a thing. You'll soon be coming in with normal gameplay.
Yes.
It looks like we're actually going to be starting right now.
Yeah, Saga Corruption versus Atomi. Saga Corruption is going to be taking over Killer, and Atomi going to be survivors. All right, and on to the match we go. So I wonder if...
Wait, did we ever set the map?
Yes, they did,
okay.
I believe.
Okay, good.
I believe that they did, because it is a generator that they are choosing the maps from. Just because with some maps are more some killers' strong suits, it makes it a little bit easier. And offerings are not allowed. Please keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, offerings should not be allowed.
Right. And I think there is command rules. There it is. There are rules that could be found in this document that the players are all following.
Yeah, and because someone brought an offering, the match is going to have to be restarted. Also, we're going to have to double check and make sure that the map was actually selected.
Yes.
So I know the new lobby was just made.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there'll be another little small setback.
Yep. Just a small setback. What I did last week with Jordan, I showed my dog for like a hot minute. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that again.
Why not?
I don't know.
If I had my dog with me, I'd show her off. But
he's just, yeah, the dog that I showed last week, his name's Ollie. He's a corgi. He is diagnosed with arthritis now, and I didn't realize how old that he's getting. So more setbacks mean more hate to Victor. Oh no.
True, but looks like this next map we're actually going into is Torment Creek.
Okay.
More corn.
Oh yay.
I love corn so much.
More corn. Yay. Well, let's hope that they'll be able to find the survivors and won't get them too lost. I hope.
Surely. I think Torment Creek is a map that they played Doctor on last time.
I think so.
Is it?
I had it pulled up. Let me take a look. I think it was. Now that I'm thinking of it, let me see if I can find it.
I know it was a corn map. I just don't remember which variation it was. No, I think it was Rancid. No, it was Rancid that they played Doctor on. Torment, I believe, is the one with like really weird centered building.
Yes. I think honestly, some of the maps kind of look the same. It's the one where it had like the hanging pigs. That's what they played on.
The one is the hanging pig. Oh yeah, that's Rancid. That's
okay.
Rancid.
So that's the corn one. Yep, that's the corn. I see it. Yep. There it is. Where the gameplay at? They are loading in just the next couple of minutes. The farm maps, you like them, Anxious? I feel like my favorite map, I like Redwoods. I believe that's Oni's map. That's my favorite one.
Mother's Dwelling? Red Forest?
Red Forest.
Oni's map is actually not in play for this tournament.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Is that one banned?
Yes.
Yes.
So Red Forest belongs to Huntress and Plague.
Oh, okay. What is Oni's map that has the statues?
Yamaoka.
Okay.
Yep, that is Oni's and Spirit's map.
Okay. Oh, I love Spirit. And I like the connections that they've created with the killers and their survivors as well. And not just like with just Oni or just Yui. Like they're also connected with Spirit as well, which is amazing.
It is pretty humorous. Also, Elodie and Felix have a connection as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
They do. That one was revealed in Elodie's lore. However, I forgot the exact relationship between them. I do know they were not romantic partners, but I do know they were like working partners, business partners.
Okay.
To the point of friendship.
Ah, I see. I'll have to dig deeper into the lore and everything after the tournament because I'm kind of, like I said, guys, like I'm kind of learning like as I go. Yes, don't crucify me. I mean Spirit. Spirit is really, really fun to play. I personally really like
non-strider Spirit. I respect it, honestly. It looks like the match is loaded in. And the killer is running corrupt intervention. What is it? It's a piggy.
Amanda.
We have an Amanda.
We got a piggy.
Hold on. Okay, come on, save the best for last. I was waiting for someone to use a killer that is good with save the best for last. It looks like we're gonna be running Pig. So Pig is a very unique killer. For the first time, we're actually gonna be having a stealth killer in this tournament. Pig's stealth is activated just by crouching. For Michael, his stealth is in tier 1. Ghostface is up for cooldown. Wraith you just bing bong, but you can't really do much about it. Pig, all she has to do is crouch, and she goes on untouchable status, and also her power. It's a limited resource, but it is actually a pretty interesting source of game slowdown. And it looks like she's using one of the more basic add-ons on combat straps, which actually helps when you're crouching. Huh, this is interesting. I'm waiting to see how this goes. Looks like she is currently in chase with the Fang.
And we got one nice gen pop as well, too. So that's 2 points to Tomi.
Yes, 2 points to Tomi. And she already threw away her 1 stack to save the best for last. That might actually hurt her in the long run. Ooh, that pallet did not look like it was supposed to hit.
Okay, we got on chase with a Yui right now, taking the hit.
No, we went hopeful. Now, the idea that I think that Miss Amanda should actually go for is actually going for the save the best for last stacks. When she actually has a sufficient amount of save the best for last stacks, a lot of her chases will end up being so much faster and so much easier. And she got a good trap on Yui, which means the next time a gen pops, that trap will be activated and the Yui will be forced to try to get the trap off her head, which will... Ooh, that's gonna hurt. And that's gonna impede a little bit of gen progress that normally she would be able to have.
Ooh, good.
And that's a pretty early pallet drop. He does see the Kate though.
Mm-hmm.
So he can go for the Kate, hopefully get 2 stacks off this Kate. Now, what I find interesting is that with the Quinn, she's not actually trying to use her power. With Piggy and save the best for last, what she can do, since the Quinn's already injured, what she can do is go into her crouch and use her ambush. Using hitting the Quinn with the ambush will actually not let her lose her stacks. Which, if you don't know what save the best for last does, for every stack that she has, each token grants her an extra 5% recovery speed buff. So right now she'll have 10% faster recovery. Which, if you've ever played against any killer like Deathslinger, Demogorgon, Pig, Ghostface, whatever the case may be, once they have all 8 stacks, you can feel the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because you thought that any chase that you'd be able to do or any unhook that you're able to get, they recover and instantly you're down again. You can't do anything unless you are a really good looper. It looks like she currently has 2 points and 2 traps up right now, and no extra gens done.
No,
that actually might hurt them.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of just. And that's kind of the thing about Pig as well. There's so much to think about. You have the generators, but you have the killer chasing you, of course, and you have the traps on your head, and then the machines to get the traps off the head. So it's a lot to think about when it comes to facing this killer. Oh, I love that chase tactic, by the way.
The classic lunge into hitting over the traffic vault. Not tractor vault.
Mm-hmm.
The tractor can actually pretty frustrating to dupe sometimes. However, that little trick can actually help with a lot of loops, especially if you're just a basic M1 killer like Piggy. It looks like he's gonna get the pallet. He's gonna get the pallet, and the pallet's stunned. That's a lot of distance on the Quentin, and it looks like the traps are now active on both the Kate and the Yui. Which means you have 2 people actively trying to get traps off the head, which means you only have the Fang actually working on generators because the Quentin isn't in chase anymore? Did she lose him?
Looks like it. I don't see any red scratch marks either.
That's it. Oh, and now the Fang is down and she's about to get a trap on her head.
Also, there's another gen pop, so 4 points currently to Atomi.
For what it's worth, this Piggy's actually getting a lot. Is actually doing way more than I ever thought a Pig would actually be able to do in this kind of setting. And this is not because the killer is bad. It's because Pig in herself is a very, very hard killer to get full value out of against a coordinated team, and she only has 1 trap left. Which means once she has once you use this last trap, she cannot put any more on the survivor's head, which means any pressure that she could possibly have through traps, she will not be able to have anymore.
And it looks like the reverse bear trap timer is 150 seconds by default.
Yes, you do have add-ons that can reduce the amount of time that it takes for the traps to detonate. However, temper timer is banned because pigs cannot use purple add-ons, and temper timer is a purple add-on. It looks like she's actually gonna go for down the Fang, a little bit of a tongue tactic, and there is no DS on the Fang at all. Oh, is that breakout? Is that breakout Saboteur?
Looks like there's 3 points to the killer.
Actually, now it's 4 points.
4 points. Yes.
And it's about to get an extra hook state onto this Yui. And actually, it doesn't look like the Fang has DS, so if she chose to tunnel the Fang right now, she definitely could.
Looks like they're about to get another hook as well. So 5 points to the killer.
Actually, that's gonna be their 6 point and a
Really?
death.
Where am I, Ben? 6
That's
points
gonna
and
be-
a death? That's double.
That's gonna be their death. Which means only 3 survivors left at 3 gens. This piggy's probably one of the best positions I have seen in almost any game, actually. And since she didn't kill the obsession, she can still get saved best for last stats, which is going to be really dangerous for her because now she's at 5, and she used her last trap, which means she will not be able to put any more traps on any survivors' heads after she get anymore really. 6 stacks, that's 30%. She can just easily snowball this right now. When she gets into the chase at this point, it's all over.
Now, I do have a quick question about Pig. Can you get the trap Ani put on twice?
Yes, you can actually put the same trap. You can put a trap on the same person twice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's just they have to get the trap off first, and then you can put it on them again. And frankly, I'm as surprised as Chad is right now of how much value this pig is actually getting.
This pig is really tearing this team up.
Honestly. That faster recovery from Save the Best for Last. Oh, that's dead hard. I don't think the Quinn has borrowed time.
Now, someone brought up a dash that Quentin has.
Not Quentin, it's Piggy. So what Piggy has is it's called an ambush. So once you actually, how to say this, when you crouch and go undetectable, Piggy has, I believe, an M1 option that you have to hold in, and she can dash and hit somebody. This is useful to save the best for last because once you use dash, it does not cause you to lose your stacks. If you hit someone with just a regular M1 or hit your obsession with a regular M1, it causes you to lose your stacks. And it looks like that's pretty much game. There's no real way to come back from this.
Not at all.
Even a hatch escape won't do any good for this first survivor team. And it looks like the killer will be able to walk out with at least 9 points. That is extremely good. And with situation at hand, also looks like she, I believe, is going to get 2 points. Not the teabag over
Not the
teabag. Not this. No. When did the game go dark? Game is dark. There we go.
Oh, yes, back to normal.
There we go.
Not the competitive tea bags.
Not this. And I believe they only got 2 gens done.
Yep. So 10 to 6.
10 to 6. Actually, 11 to 6.
11.
Because she got all 3 hooks on all 3 other survivors, and then a hook into a death on the Quitten. So that'll be only 11. That'll be only 11 points for the pig. When I say only, that's almost maxed. And honestly,
yeah.
Unless the survivor team from wow. I'm just in shock. Unless the survivor team coming up next just completely throws the game, there's no way that they don't win this round.
It seems like they're so close, but so far at the same time. Does that make sense?
It does feel like that, but looking at it from even when I had to face them last week, depending on the perks that they're running, they are pretty good at immersion. They are pretty good at immersion and just getting stuff done in a sneaky manner.
Yes, very stealth-like.
In comparison to this previous team, where they let the killer know where they were at all times. They were doing some seemingly really altruistic plays that, if no one knows the saying, altruism gets people killed in these streets.
In these streets.
Yes, they do.
Let me take a look at the bracket once more. So whoever wins between Saga Corruption and Atomi, they will face off against Exodus.
I have not seen Exodus play. I believe they're actually one of the newer teams.
I believe they are one of the newer teams.
That's going to be nice. I want to see how Exodus plays.
It's really
I'm excited.
Agreed. It's really exciting to see all these new teams be inspired to play in this tournament. It's really exciting to see.
Honestly, I want to see who else I need to go against at the finale.
And if you think about it, honestly, you have like, I mean, other than watching the audience, of course, you have like front row seat to see like future competition possibly.
Honestly, that's going to be, oof. I'm wondering, because the thing is that at some point I thought about bringing in some different killers, but I don't know, man. I might have to pick.
You play other than Oni?
Oni, Nurse. If you see a Billy at some point, don't be surprised.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. If you see a Billy, mind your business. If you also see a Spirit, mind your business.
I love Spirit. I think she was one of the first killers that I personally played. I mean, I'm not very good with like killer personally. I do find myself playing Ghostface quite a bit though.
Ghostface is one I actually play too. But that's also depending on the map, because if I look at the map pool, I don't remember if there's a map in there that is exactly the best for Ghostface. Hold on, because I see Dead Dog. That could be a decent one for Ghostface. Crotus, definitely not. Coldwind, actually, believe it or not, Corn is actually a decent map for Ghostface. You say you want to remind what Dead Dog is?
Crotus Pen? What is that?
Oh, Crotus. So Crotus is recently reworked. What Crotus is a nurse and clown map.
Oh.
I know Disturbed Ward was recently reworked. And what happened was Disturbed Ward used to be a map that is still the same size as it was before, but it used to be a lot more spread out, objective-wise. Now they pretty much condensed it so much to the point where it's a lot easier to defend a lot of things.
And I was going to ask as well, too, how do you feel about the updates with the user interface that they did while in match? How do you feel about the new updates, the animations, new shading that we've noticed as well?
The new shading?
Everything.
Like, the new shading is actually pretty cool. The interface, it's not my favorite thing on the planet. Well, at first it wasn't my favorite thing on the planet. Now I actually kind of like it. is actually pretty useful, especially considering that when you are running perks like Save the Best for Last or any obsession perks, it lets you know who you kind of have to avoid hard targeting. Everyone else you can go for, but their obsession, it lets you know who they are and pretty much who you don't exactly want to always go for.
I'm looking at the realms and everything too. Yeah, there's definitely some maps we're unable to use, unfortunately. I was a little excited to see the Silent Hill map because that's personally my favorite, but I don't think they're allowed.
No, let me tell you. No, let me tell you. If they put in the Silent Hill map, I swear to you, I would have. I don't give a nurse that power. Do not give a nurse that power. Do not give a nurse that power. They can run the worst for them. Yes, it is a like. There's if you are decent at nurse, and if you're actually good at nurse, right? There are so many teams, so many ways you can just easily wipe the floor with them on that map because you can just traverse the map, and it's also really small. Even without ranged add-ons, a nurse can tear up that map super quickly.
So chosen from balanced realms within a generator. So they're randomly chosen, and again, it's Dead Dog, Macmillan Estate, Crotus Pren, Coldwind, and then Red Forest. Out of the 15 different map options.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Actually, I kind of do want to see if someone pulls out Billy or Blight.
Yes.
Two killers.
Not seen a Blight or a Billy.
Because Blight is just incredibly hard and frustrating to use, but also he's actually coming in with a change on this next patch. They're finally fixing his FOV, because for those who don't know Blight's FOV, his character model is kind of big, but his FOV is at his legs.
Whoa, what?
His FOV is at his legs. So what they're doing is they're fixing it so it actually looks like Blight is looking from his eyes, not his knees.
I didn't even notice that.
His kneecaps. Oh my god.
No. You're good.
Okay, this is in. It's not his knees. His knees is his kneecaps.
Kneecaps.
Specifically, his kneecaps. Oh. But they're fixing that so you actually have to look for. So you actually look at his leg or look from his eyes, not his kneecaps. They're also fixing his collision, which is another part of Blight that is incredibly frustrating to learn, especially because he's already a little bit of a harder character to learn. Billy, though, he's a bit of a story, because Billy is a pretty good killer. It's just ever since his rework, he's been a little bit harder to get full value out of because of his overheat mechanic. Now, luckily, he's not limited to certain add-ons that, or so luckily he can use certain add-ons that actually help with his overheat a lot. But for the most part, he is a little bit more frustrating to play, also because of the fact that people kind of know how to play against him. But as long as the Billy's a patient player, he can do exceedingly well. Also, looks like Anxious wants to see a hag.
Ooh, a hag would be fun.
You know what? I am glad that the rules eliminate Silent Trap Hag. I can deal with playing a hag in almost any other situations, but if it's Silent Trap Hag, I'm out. I'm not playing it. I don't want to do it. I hate it so much. We're gonna
DC right away.
Yes, yes. It's an automatic Alt F4 for me, honey. That's pretty much what it is.
Give me the penalty. It's fine. I'll deal with it. We'll deal with it that way. Something interesting about fixing Blight's collision, it'll actually nerf Billy and him gliding into rocks. Okay.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't know about that one. So I think the thing with Billy and him sliding against rocks, does the same thing happen? Wait, is it gonna be Blight specific though, or is it also gonna happen with Demogorgon? Because Demogorgon also has the same kind of thing, where Demogorgon on certain maps, he can actually abuse the lack of collision when he's shredding and actually kind of shred around corners, which is kind of busted. It's kind of fun. It's really fun to do. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of busted.
Busted.
But I love doing it. That's why I love playing Demogorgon. All right, looks like the next match is starting. If we can go into spectate mode.
Yes, current score, it's Atomi as killer 6 and then Saga Corruption for survivor 11. So we got Saga Corruption in the lead.
Ooh, it doesn't look like there's actually corrupts in play, and we're seeing an Oni.
Yes.
Ooh. This build's actually this build's interesting.
Let's talk about it. How do you feel about the build being an Oni main?
Okay. So the build is Haunted Grounds, Ruin. This is a perk combination that, because Ruin Undying is not allowed to be played, Ruin Haunted is actually pretty decent, especially for a killer like Oni that kind of does lack an early game pressure. So if he's able to get Haunted Grounds value, then that's gonna be one of the best starts he can probably hope for. Then you have Ruin, General Revenge. We all know that. Tinker is a perk that I don't think I saw used much to at all last week. What this does is whenever a generator is like that, whenever a generator hits 70%, the killer is alerted, and he also becomes undetectable for 12 seconds or 14 seconds, I believe. And Surveillance is a perk that isn't used as much as I honestly think it should be sometimes. But whenever a generator is regressing, it glows white, and whenever someone starts repairing it, like someone just did, it glows yellow. Paired with Ruin, it's really powerful because you almost always know where someone is at any time whatsoever, as long as Ruin is not cleansed.
Did we
as
see
long as Ruin is not cleansed.
that pig main? Do we see them use Surveillance? I don't think we saw any. I'm very surprised.
We did not see Surveillance whatsoever.
And I do want to remind chat as well, for killers, Hex, Undying, and Objects of Obsession are banned. So you cannot use these within this tournament.
Oh, yes. For justified reasons as well, especially with the reason... Ooh, okay. Come on, curve into the Cheryl. With the recent Undying change, if Undying was not banned, you'd probably see a lot of Undying Devour, Undying Haunted, or just really strong Hex builds. That'd be really hard to counter. And as well as Object, for a lot of killers, if you chose to run Object, especially because it's really good in a team that is communicating, you can always communicate where a killer is. It's pretty much one of the strongest perks in the game in a coordinated setting, which is why Object is indeed banned. And he's using his power again. Where is he going to go for? He's going for the unhook.
Ooh, this roar just absolutely just freaks me out every time I play an Oni.
Wait, I think this is the same. Wait, is this the same map that I played Oni on too? I think it is. I think it is. Oh, I love it here. Come on, replay.
Yep, the corn. If you're getting a little heated.
Wait.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay. I was not expecting that to hit. I was not expecting that to hit whatsoever.
That was really strange.
That was nice.
Right through a wall, yeah.
And he's okay. So remember how I was kind of joking and I said if you use Scalp Top Knot on Oni, that's your choice? Well, he's doing that. Scalp Top Knot is one of the strongest add-ons for Oni, and unironically, it is a green add-on. What Scalp Top Knot does is that it doesn't disclose an exact number, but when you use your power, what it does is the activation time it takes for you to pretty much start your demon dash is cut in half. Using this add-on is incredibly strong.
And a smart play.
Incredibly strong. Yes. Very much a smart play. And you know what? Actually, I did run. I did run Only Against Saga. I remember. Oh, please.
Oh, no. Oh, right, because this is the team that you faced when you were Oni. Right?
Yes, I remember this.
I feel like I have your hand. I feel like you have your hands over your mouth, just like.
I really do. I do. I do. But the thing is, though, is that we had such a leg up that I did I play a little bit more greedy than I probably should. That I probably would have in other situations, yes. But he definitely is one of the stronger killers. He's definitely one of the stronger killers. It's just his strength condition does rely on being able to get your power as fast as possible. And he's gonna run right over to that gen with his power, with the increased mobility. That is going to be incredibly scary if they don't see it coming, which apparently they did.
Yeah, it looks like they're on the run right now.
Yep, they pre-left the gen, and he should kick this and get some surveillance so that way he knows whenever they start repairing it again.
I love seeing these big brain plays we're seeing from these killers. Take notes.
They're
Everybody take notes.
evolving. They're evolving.
Yes, they are evolving. So it looks like that we've seen so far, and correct me if I'm wrong, I do see the killer so far has gotten 3 hooks and 2 pop gens thus far from Survivor.
You have 2 pop gens from Survivor side and 3 hooks from the killer side. Soon it's about to be 4 hooks.
4, yeah, about to be 4.
Which from looks of it looks like Saga's already gonna, unless Saga somehow lets them get all 4 men out. I don't see a way for Saga to lose this.
Agreed. Oh, there we are in a chase with the Heather. Oh.
Ooh, that was nice.
They really just like try to smack them around that corner.
Oh, that was a nice dead hard into a pallet stun. Oh, it looks like Tinker procced. What's Gen proc though? Oh, there's one right next to him. The Fang is out. Is that death hook for her? It might be. Oh, he's going for the next Tinker proc. Oh wait, he's going for the nasty. That's a second down for him. Let's go. Come on, Snowball. Come on, Snowball.
Oh, that Felix got off the hook.
Oh, he doesn't have to go for the. Ooh. He doesn't have to go for the full smash. He can just M1 the Felix. That's 3. Now he's gonna get the 4.
Oh, he's slugging them left and right.
Oh, this is how Oni's power is so scary.
They need to find. Oh, okay, they need to find that Heather like right away.
Even if they find the Heather, from how the situation is looking, he actually is just in a really good spot. Also, I'm pretty sure that's where the Heather is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's where she is. And all he has to do is follow the blood trails of where the Heather's going, which it may be towards the unhook. Or not. It is.
Yep. Good call. There she is, that blonde hair that we see.
I always will find it interesting how they call Heather Cheryl in this game.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I never thought about it either until recently. Someone pointed it out. I was like, wait.
Yeah, her name is Heather, isn't it? From Silent Hill 3?
Yes. Cheryl is apparently a doll. I don't know why they call her Cheryl in this game.
Oh, that is weird. I didn't even notice that. Cheryl, Heather, tomato, tomato. You know how it goes.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing. No.
And right now, it looks like that is going to be 6 points for the killer and 8 points for Survivor side right now with 4 gens done. Ooh, this is going to be a close one. Is he going to be able to get the Fang? Is he going to be able to kill the Fang? Ooh, if that would have hit, that'd been impressive. He's going for the tractor tech. Back and forth tractor tech. Does he see anybody? He might know where someone is. That's why he probably did it.
What an incredible way to just move around the map. Incredible and scary at the same time. Because I feel like it's like the Doppler effect. Just like, as soon as you hear that roar coming right at you, it's like the most horrifying. That would have jump scared me.
Get him. Get him. He saw surveillance glow yellow. He was going to go towards Jen, but then he sees someone actually running into his face. But he's still gonna go back for the Tinker proc, which the Felix is down again. If the Felix doesn't have DS, he is definitely a dead man here.
And that makes it 6 hooks, correct?
7, actually.
7. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. So now killers have 7 points, and the survivor currently have 8 points for this round.
And they just need one more gen to be popped, and then and they do have a death. There is a death right there. Did they die on hook? Yes, they did. I'm sure they died on hook.
They did. They did die on hook. He's gonna chase this Fang now. Is he actually gonna go get her? Oh, instead of chasing the Fang, he's actually gonna go for the Tinkerer proc. Since he is in his power, he can't afford to do this. It would also be more valuable to actually go for them while they're fully healed compared to going for the Fang while it's. Ooh.
Ran right into
Nancy is down. Let's go.
That's the 8th hook. They are in Saga Corruption. Or no. Let me correct myself.
This is
Atomi. Yeah, Atomi is in a really good spot right now. They are just really racking up these points as best as they possibly can.
Compared to how the Survivor round went, this is just a huge turnaround for performance-wise.
And some people do better as Killer versus Survivor.
It's just interesting. I feel like if Atomi didn't go for the super altruistic blaze, they would definitely have this in the bag right now.
I agree.
But this actually might be really close.
Very close. They still have some time.
Ooh. The Fang's gonna try home at this window. He also sees surveillance actually did make the gen glow white or glow yellow, and the last gen is done. Now how many people would they be able to get out though? Because as of right now, they're looking at a possible 3-man out, if not a 2-man. However, whoa, huh? I was not expecting that. Actually, it wasn't Nancy. She must have used her strength to actually heal herself in the locker. Ooh. Don't chase her on Killer Shack. Do not do it. Do not do it.
Ooh, they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna do it.
Oh, they got the Nancy.
And she's down? Or did he miss? Oh no, she's down. That's incredible.
And that'll be 8 hooks for the Oni. 9 hooks actually?
9
hooks for the Oni.
And a death as well, I believe.
So that's 14 points for Saga and 9 points for Atomi for this round. That was actually a pretty good game, and that Oni's performance actually really took me off guard. That was actually really well played by him.
Extremely full-on aggression too, and I love seeing aggressive killers, specifically in a competitive tournament.
Truly, it is super fun to watch. I want to see more aggression like that.
Yes, absolutely. And it looks like here, looking at the bracket, so was it Saga Corruption? They're going to be moving forward.
It looks like Saga will be the ones that are moving forward.
The Team Exodus.
Ooh, against one of the newer teams. This
Yes.
is actually going to be pretty amazing.
And the Throwers are also going to be facing a new team called Vendetta.
And I believe they're one of the newer teams as well.
Yes.
Come on, let's go. Come on, up and coming talent.
I am happy to see that because the Throwers came in second place last week, but it looks like they're moving through the bracket quite smoothly so far.
That's going to be really interesting because I know the Throwers were definitely moving their way up the ladder last game. Just, the final round of last week, that was a nail biter.
Absolutely. Me and Jordan were just on the, I know Jordan was very exhausted and tired, but we were both on the very edge of our seats watching everything happen. It was just, everyone played really, really well last week. I will say,
I was scared, especially when that one chase with the Yui that I don't even think lasted that long.
No, it didn't.
Just 3 gens popped just automatically. Pop. And I was like, what did this happen? I'm just glad I brought Noed, honestly. I don't even like that perk. I'm just glad I brought it.
I don't know what they did or how they've been practicing, but I do remember that just one gen after the other. I will say I have to use the restroom, so I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. While she's in the bathroom, I would like to really say fucking GG to Saga and Atomi. That was a really, really fun match to watch. And quite frankly, seeing another Oni player, that was just really fun to watch. That was just amazing. To Rat Squasher, I believe, was the Oni. I need to learn a little bit from you. Because while I'm not exactly the best Oni in the world, I can honestly say that I feel a little bit inspired to actually play Pig a little bit more. It looks like the map we're going to be going into next is Suffocation Pit. And it's going to be Throwers against Vendetta. Now, Suffocation Pit's interesting. So, Suffocation Pit is a map kind of made like Azra's Resting Place, if anyone knows what that map is. There are 2 sides of the map and one huge choke point that can be really strong for looping, but also one that if you never really cleared the choke point, it can be extremely hard for the survivors to get that last gen done. Frankly, I want to see what actually comes from the Thors on the killer side as well as the Vendettas on the killer side. Because I do know I like seeing killers like Nurse, Huntress, because killers like Doctor and Clown are actually banned. That actually eliminates the anti-looping aspect that they have, which makes the center point of that map a little bit harder to really play against if the survivors know how to play it well. Personally, I want to see someone just throw out Demogorgon. I just want to see someone throw out Demogorgon. I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm just saying I would love to see someone throw out Demogorgon. Oh my gosh. Lawnmower. Wait. What is Lawnmower Oni? Because I know like Lawnmower Demogorgon, where you're running like carry build with mad grit and you're just slashing your life away, just becoming a lawnmower for no reason.
Oh, what now?
Oh my gosh. It looks like we're actually looking into the map. It looks like all players are ready, and we're going to see what's actually going on. I'm really curious. Are we going to see some really hardcore gen regression builds? Are we going to see just full on foot on the brake, like full on foot on the gas? Excuse my lack of speech. Are we going to see some full on gen rushing builds? Are we going to see some really good looping, some dead hards, live plays actually?
That
Are we
would
going to
be
see a
nice to
repressed
see.
alliance? I want to see a repressed alliance. I want to see someone just block a generator in the killer's face. That's it. That's what I'm living for. Let's see.
All right.
And it's a nurse.
Ooh. Okay.
Wait. This is the wrong map, I believe. It was supposed to be Suffocation Pit. Okay. So we're gonna have to actually restart this game and pick up the wrong map.
Yes.
Or pick up the right map. It looks like this build is gonna be really similar to what we seen last week. But we'll talk about that when the map is actually set properly.
Yes.
Whew. This is kind of exciting. I like watching these. These are actually really fun.
Yeah, it's nice to commentate just because, like, I know with the crowd, we're seeing the exact same thing that they're seeing, but something about commentating everything is just like, oh, it's just so exciting and so exciting to learn. And just seeing the community with Dead by Daylight come together through Console Gaming League, it's just so nice to see.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Especially considering that how much Console Gaming League has actually grown. I was actually really surprised when I saw that they were hosting a Dead by Daylight tournament when I had literally been thinking about doing like competitive Dead by Daylight. But the thing is, I know I'll get my butt handed to me because I have seen like top tier Dead by Daylight. They scare me.
In a competitive setting?
Yes, just the hardest of players. Like they know how to loop, they know how to play against just the best of players. And it's quite frankly terrifying.
It's because I know that Dead by Daylight tournaments have existed. I just have never really watched one or even really paid attention, but I have played Dead by Daylight either on my own stream, on my own time. How often you seem to play Dead by Daylight? Not every day, but you have extremely extensive knowledge of the game, which is absolutely fascinating.
I have within the time I started playing, like mid or later last year, I have 1.6 thousand hours. So that's a thing.
What now?
But the reason why I kind of just love to learn things about games I actually get invested in, because there are times when maybe I'm playing Survivor and I want to try like an interesting perk build. If I really looked at a lot of the strongest perks, I'd be stuck running Unbreakable, Decisive, Dead Hard, and Iron Will or Soul Guard or wherever the case may be. But then you'll see me in public games running Repressed Alliance and Second Wind at the same time, because although those perks may not be meta, those perks are really good.
Absolutely.
In a lot of situations. And honestly, I think Second Wind's a perk that I honestly think should get a little bit more attention.
I agree, because I use Second Wind all the time with Steve.
You know what perk I'm surprised I haven't seen? Camaraderie.
Yes, we saw that a lot last week. I've yet to see it this time.
Camaraderie is a really good perk in a really strong endgame situation. I'm just surprised I haven't seen it yet. We've even seen Breakout and Saboteur, but I haven't seen Camaraderie yet. Alright, now we're on Suffocation Pit, and we are back with the nurse.
Yes. The teams playing right now is Throwers on Killer versus Vendetta on Survivor.
It looks like, and there's an Ashe player. That's interesting.
We haven't seen an Ashe player or an Ace. We did not. We haven't seen those last week. I think we saw one Kate last week, if I'm not mistaken.
I know Ace is used a lot in like a lot of Dead by Daylight tournaments outside of this because he is one of the quiet survivors. But typically, if someone's playing Ash, they have the intention on being chased.
Yes, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ace is, you said, is the quietest, correct?
Yes, he is without a doubt the quietest killer, or quietest survivor.
Yes.
Not the quietest killer, the quietest survivor.
Right. Yes. If you're a bad teammate, maybe, but
surely. But the Ash will get hooked first, but it looks like they're doing some gens around the map. He also didn't put on barbecue, so that is a tracking perk that he will not be able to have. The only tracking perk he really has is Infectious Fright. And because he knows Infectious didn't proc, they knew that people were more likely on the side map doing generators. And it looks like the Kate actually may be going down here. The pathing that she took was a little bit too easy. Yeah, she is definitely going down here. And that will be 2 hook points for the throwers.
And we did see Glyph play Nurse last week and completely, dare I say, I don't want to say demolish, but he did very very, very well last week playing Nurse.
All I'm saying is I still got 1 more point than him, but that's he was definitely it was a surprise to see another Nurse player. I thought I walk in here that I'd be one of the only Nurse players coming into this tournament, and then I see Jay playing Nurse, and I was like, oh, okay, this might be a time. But it also kind of worked out in our favor because with Los Randies, I guess they never really played against the Nurse too much. So they would have. So when they asked me to actually join them, they mainly wanted just to play my Nurse. Like, dude, they can run a lot of killers, but they hadn't really played Nurse that much. So I had to like give them some general tips about playing against Nurse. And one of the ones I said was kind of what I said earlier, was that in a way you have to feel like you don't know what you're doing.
What do you mean by that?
So, how can I say this? With Nurse, she is a killer that takes a lot of patience. She is a killer that a lot of like what she does has to play off what she believes you're going to do.
Like reading, basically, or predicting.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you catch her using her power, you kind of have to be able to confuse her. And to a degree, depending on the Nurse player, all you really have to do is just get in their head, which I will also bring back to why I don't like a lot of Steve players, because a lot of them are really good at getting in your head. It looks like there's a question about is fatigue cancel allowed? Yes, it is. So fatigue canceling is allowed. If you don't know what fatigue canceling is, even though what he's probably talking about is that was removed. What fatigue canceling in this patch is whenever the Nurse is charging up her second blink, what she's able to do is kind of not exactly cancel the fatigue now, but she's able to get just a really slick hit, but still goes into fatigue afterwards. So this actually helps with so this helps when a survivor does this little, I don't know why I see a lot of survivors do this, because this does not make sense to me, but whenever I am charging on my second blink and a survivor like runs right into me, what the current fatigue cancel quote unquote does is it allows me to pretty much hit them by still going to fatigue but still kind of canceling my second blink. It's kind of hard to explain. Also, about Wooden Horse being banned, it is not banned.
What's Wooden Horse?
Wooden Horse is a brown Nurse add-on.
Oh, okay.
So what it does, on paper, it removes the fatigue timing from missed swings. Right now it's bugged, so even if you swing, it removes the fatigue from that too.
Oh, wow.
In this scenario, Jay's not running that. What he's running is Catatonic Voice Treasure, which actually removes the fatigue from chain links. This being said, the only way you get value from that add-on is if you blink twice.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at it right now. That's incredible.
Yes. For nurse, since our add-ons are only yellow and below, there's only really a few good add-ons, to be completely honest, that are yellow and below.
Mhm.
And even above that, there's only 4 good add-ons for nurse.
Yeah. There's not really that many add-ons for her.
There's a lot of add-ons, just a lot of them are not that good. Like you have 2 range add-ons that are green and 2 range add-ons, 1 green, 1 purple. You have 2 cooldown not cooldown, but recharge add-ons that are yellow and green. Also, I see in chat that people are talking about fatigue canceling. So I want to really repeat that the old fatigue canceling is not in the game. What it is just a second blink cancel. It's not fatigue cancel, but a second blink cancel, but you still go into fatigue afterwards.
So it's just
blink
rewards, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Or maybe they thought they fixed it and then just made another bug.
Maybe.
Because, you know, they managed to break nerves every single patch.
Totally balanced, what Jordan would say.
Totally balanced, yes. It looks like, okay, so right now it looks like Jay currently has 6 hooks under their belt and 3 gens done. So it is 6-6. Pretty split in gens to hook ratio. There are currently 2 injured in the Ace and the Ash, and let's see if he's able to find anyone else. It looks like they actually had time to reset, and he's going to he's actually going to set up to defend this 3-gen. That's a really smart move from him.
Ooh, it is a triangle. Looks like there's one behind him. Yep, one on the side right here. That's insane. That's really, really smart.
Yeah, so the survivor's goal at this point, they're going to try to break this 3-gen, but it's going to be really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they already broke it. Okay. Mm-hmm. They already broke it. Well, now they have rewritten through the gen from across the map, and there's very little Jay can actually do about it if they chose to go that route. Oh, wow. And now since Noah's procs, everyone is now one shot until they find the totem.
Oh no.
And it looks like he's going for the plugging route.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2. Now, are they going to go for the saves? Are they going to go for the pickups?
Another down from the Ash.
Or are they going to take the 2-man out? Because it is possible to go for the 3-man. It is very possible to go for the 3-man. But it's going to be incredibly hard until they find that totem.
And that is a death as well on the hook.
And it looks like they're going to take the 2-man out. That is going to be an extra probably 4 points, maybe.
Yes.
4 points for Jay exiting out of this match. So now you're looking at a 14 for Vendetta and 10 for Throwers. That was a very, very good match. A very, very good one to watch.
Very close as well, too.
That is... Jeez.
Yes, absolutely. And I wonder who Vendetta is going to choose as the killer.
I'm curious as well. Is there going to be another nurse in play, or are we going to see one of the killers that may not be as strong, but one that can definitely get the job done on this map? Personally, I want to see how someone does with Deathslinger. I want to see it.
And remind me, it's Clown Spirit, and what's the other one that's banned?
Clown Spirit and Doctor.
Doctor. Yep, because those were actually used last week as well. Spirit and Doctor, of course.
Yes, they were played last week. Clown, I don't see Clown ever being played in this tournament whatsoever, even though Otts was able to get 50 wins with him in a row after very, very torturous amount of time. I don't think people will be enticed to play Clown whatsoever. He is a very hard killer to do well with in this kind of setting. However, I think Doctor actually could do well in this map because there are a lot of loops in this map that he actually could negate. Mixed in with perks like Save the Best for Last, or even as much as Noed, he could actually do exceedingly well. But this is also a pretty big map for him, so I don't know how well that would really go.
I like that they're staying on the same map each match. It's nice.
Honestly, same.
Makes
because if I have to endure Corn for 3 matches in a row, everyone else that I have to go against will do it with me.
If I'm suffering, you guys are suffering too.
Yes. Point blank, period. No questions asked.
No questions. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
And we haven't seen, who haven't we seen? We haven't seen Blight. We haven't seen a Ghostface.
We haven't seen Myers, nor do I ever think we'll see a Myers.
You don't think we'll see a Myers?
No.
Why is that?
No. Because let's talk about it. Myers is a very, so Myers is not like Ghostface. Ghostface is actually better than Myers in the regard that his stalking can expose anyone at any point in time. Myers' stalking is on, how can I say this, a meter. Once he bleeds out all his survivors, he can't get his tier 3 anymore. And there are certain add-ons that he can run that will that'll extend his tier 3, and I believe the max is green, I believe. But he's also not good enough to the point where he's not like Ghostface that can expose someone by hiding around a corner and then sneak up and just smack them upside the head. He's not like Peg that can just kind of sneak around the map. He's not like Wraith that can just go around the map and just do what he pleases. Myers, once he's out of his tier 1, you know he's coming. Even if he's running Monitor, you can know he's coming, especially because he is so tall.
He's a big boy.
He is such a big boy. You can hear his breathing. He sounds like Darth Vader. The only time I never really notice is if it's like a big map, especially when in my earlier games of Dead by Daylight, where I still have clips of me freaking out whenever Myers would just come up just right in front of me. I never realized. And all indoor maps are banned, so you can't like meme around and run like Scratch Mirror Myers, even if they had purple add-ons enabled for him.
Calling Myers. Okay, so Anxious in chat says calling Myers a stealth killer is kind of generous, considering the fact his stealth state, is literally horrendous.
It really is a hindrance, because when he is in his stealth, in his tier 1, he is slower. He doesn't have a lunge. He doesn't have anything. He's just undetectable. So I do agree. Calling him a stealth killer is generous. Giving him stuff like
stealthy. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, most stealthy? Most stealthy?
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Most I just get really excited.
You want me to be completely honest? Deathslinger with Monitor.
Really?
Deathslinger with Monitor. Because here's the thing. Pig has loud breathing. Ghostface, you may not be able to hear his breathing, but his outfit, like his thing, has like a loud whoosh that you can hear if you're paying enough attention. But if you put Monitor on Deathslinger, you will never know he's coming until he's literally right on you and just hits you. Or even the funnier thing too is that if you're running Monitor with Deathslinger, because Monitor reduces your terror radius by 8 meters, his gun has 18 meter
right
reach.
You said that earlier.
You can shoot someone without them ever knowing you're right there, without their terror radius ever triggering, and they would not know a singular difference.
I feel like we've all been through something like that. Just get shot. Like, what the hell? Like, what? Like, I didn't even hear him. Yeah, like no terror radius. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deathslinger Martyr is probably the stealthiest killer in the game, and no one can tell me otherwise. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
I didn't even think of like the sounds and like the breathing. Like, I didn't even think of like listening for that, because I mean, as a casual player, you would I like that we have like a casual and we have like a competitive like side by side. This is so nice, because I feel like for me, like if I'm playing, I am only focusing on the terror radius, the heartbeat that you hear, or of course if you're Michael Myers, you would hear like music. But I didn't realize that there's like other sound, like swooshing sounds and like breathing. I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, it's especially once you really start listening to like these little sounds that certain killers make. At some points, even when I'm playing killer, right, I'll sometimes hear these sounds, but I will listen for like the smallest of things. Like if I hear grass just move like for a half a second, I'm like, someone is right here.
That is horrifying.
Someone is right here. Someone's right. No. You're not getting away with this.
You're getting slugged, basically.
Like you're getting slugged. You're. It's like you thought you were going for that. No, you're not.
Not today. Not today.
It is
all right.
So funny. Looks like we're about to be going to this next game. Same map with the Suffocation Pit. Only now we're going to have Vendetta on Killer. Now let's see what they're actually going to do, because now I'm curious. I'm wondering if they're going to pull out some sneaky killer. Let's see.
I'm really hoping. Oh,
Pyramid Head.
Yes.
Ooh.
All right. Okay.
And he's actually running. He's running the same build that we saw on Torment Creek, and I forgot who was running it. I think it was the Oni. Yeah, whoever was playing Oni on Torment Creek, they're running that same build. And looks like that's an early hit. Yeah. Oh no. It wasn't Los Niños. It was Rat Scratcher. Rat Scratcher. That's it.
Okay. Oh yes. Okay.
It looks like they're going for, again, Ruin Haunted, which is a pretty good solid build, because you're going to be motivated to break the totems. If you break Haunted first, that can actually provide you so much value if you're able to actually get the one-shots from it, and depending on how many you're able to get within those 60 seconds. It looks like you have an injured Claudette. He's going to stick to his Claudette, and then this power is going to cost him.
I would like to remind Chad as well, too, looking at these rules, if I can find it here, tunneling is allowed, I believe. Yes.
Yes, tunneling is very much allowed.
Yes, no penalty for it at all.
You let them get off the hook, that means you weren't camping. But if you tunnel someone off the hook, that's perfectly fine. And you know what? Now he's going to be able to do that, especially if Sakura did have DS.
I see in chat they're running green add-ons as well.
Yes. Pyramid Head is one of the killers that is allowed to run green add-ons. So I'd like to remind everyone again. It's Nurse, Spirit, and Hag that are only allowed yellow add-ons and below. Wraith and Trapper are allowed purple and below. Every other killer is allowed to run green and below.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, I apologize.
The interesting thing is, I'm wondering, this Pyramid Head's not going for double range. They're going for a range. I believe that one increases the amount of time that your trails remain in the environment. Also, in Haunted Grounds did proc, so now every survivor is exposed from 60 seconds from when the totem did pop.
So that's one gen pop thus far.
Gonna be 2 points for the Thors and 2 points for Vendetta. It's interesting now that we're actually seeing a bit more Pyramid Head. I wasn't expecting it. Actually, no, I was expecting someone to run Pyramid Head at some point. I just didn't expect 2 people to run him. I didn't expect 2 people to run him. 2 people to run him. I didn't expect 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 using the unhook on me. Ooh. Got the hit to the Claudette with his power, and looks like he is going to stick with the Claudette. And Claudette is now tormented, which means, ooh, that was nice.
That was a good down. Oh, wait, explain that. That was incredible.
Oh, the Cage of Atonement.
Oh, so that was the cage. Okay, I've seen the animation before.
Yeah, so because Sakura is tormented, Pyramid Head does have a mechanic where if you're tormented, you have the ability to get into the cage if you're on your first or second hook state. Since each cage counts towards a hook state, that can happen. Once you're on your third hook state, though, and you're tormented, he is able to mori you.
Love that. I really hope that we see a mori. I'm not gonna lie. I really, really hope that we see it.
There is a pretty decent chance you'll be able to. But there's another thing to really say about this as well, is that his cages, because they don't count as like actual unhookings, they avoid perks like Borrow Time, they avoid Decisive Strike, they avoid literally any perk that would come from unhooking. So if you really want to tunnel without worrying about Decisive Strike or Borrow Time, you just send him to a cage. And everything is free real estate from there.
Free real estate.
And right now he's going for 4 hook states. Also, this is actually really smart for people to actually run Pyramid Head in this, because sending someone to a cage is a lot faster than sending someone to a hook. And you get the same amount of points from it. Ooh, that's a torment coming out of Sakura, which means that she is caught out. She's dead. Ooh, ooh, wait, oh, that, ooh, yes, come on, connection. Come on, connection. And with how this Pyramid has been hitting his punishment, he should be able to get the down Sakura relatively quickly here.
This is incredible looping coming from this player as well. Elodie, is that who this is?
This is Claudette.
Claudette.
We haven't actually seen an Elodie, but that's probably because she's one of the louder survivors. The same reason why we haven't seen someone like Felix or
Jeff.
Meg. Jeff. Especially Jeff. He
big
is
honking
so
guy. Very loud.
I think have we seen a Jane actually?
No, we have not. I'm surprised.
Really?
Jane's pretty, she's pretty loud.
Maybe that's just in my practicing sessions where I would see Janes and I'm surprised he did not go for the mori there. I guess he figured that it would actually be faster to just go for the hook and then move on about his day. So it looks like we are now at 5 hooks for the killer, and now Noed has Proxim's last gens done. Ooh, that's a mispower from him. The Quentin will be able to get away. Now they are alerted that he has Noed. So now they have 2 options. They can take the 2-man out, they can go for the save and risk actually being down, or they can somehow find Noed and clutch it out, get a 3-man escape. The possibilities are endless.
Oh, this is so close, too.
Truly.
And everyone is doing such a good job as well, too. It's 2020 right now.
And they chose to take the 2-man out. There's
They're
gonna be
neck
2
and
extra points for 1 extra point for the death of Glyph. So that would be, I believe, 7 points? 7 points.
Yes, 7 points.
And 14 points for throwers for getting all 5 gens done and a 2-man out.
Very well done.
Which looks like the throwers will be winning this round and moving on to the finals for this week.
Oh my goodness. So yes, throwers are part of the finals. And then it looks like it's Saga Corruption versus Team Exodus. Now, Team Exodus, you pointed out, they're also new. So we're curious to see, because who did Saga Corruption play again? They played Oni, right?
Yes, they played Oni. They ran back the hand that beat them last time, and quite frankly, it worked.
They're doing something right, apparently.
I'm waiting to see what's actually gonna come next. Is he gonna run Oni again? Because Oni actually is significantly. Wait, they're not running Suffocation Pit for this map. Who am I talking to? But if it was Suffocation Pit, Oni is a lot harder to play on Suffocation Pit than, say, on maps like Red Forest or, dare I say, Dead Dog.
I can agree with that for sure. Just because like it's such a large map, and I feel like Oni like is Oni like who is it? So is Oni the slowest? Am I mistaken in that? No, who's the slowest?
The slowest killer.
Yeah.
So walking
Nurse,
slow.
isn't it?
Yeah, Nurse is the slowest killer walking wise. But here's the thing too: if you're walking as Nurse, the survivor's probably doing something right, or you're a baby.
Oh, you gotta love the baby killers. They're so fun to mess with. Gosh. You gotta love, even as a casual, messing with baby killers is so nice.
You know what? I feel bad sometimes because when I bully baby killers, I bully baby killers, and I don't even know that they're baby.
How do you
like
do
recently? I've had games where like I have bullied like red rank killers, but they are not exactly really versed in the killers that they're playing. So I kind of bullied them on accident, and I feel bad afterwards. I was like, I am so sorry. I did not mean to make you feel that bad. But how I do it, honestly, I just loop them and locker dodge, and if I'm at an exit gate and I haven't used DS yet, because more often than not that is the case, I will do a tactical move and make sure that my teammates can get out. By that I mean loop, like, spin them around for a little bit and then hit them with DS. Because I am toxic. Sometimes I do use my flashlight though.
And we're proud of it. We're proud of being toxic here.
And you know what? Sometimes if I'm feeling really, really brave, I will use Repressed Alliance and I will block a generator in their face, especially if I know they have Pop Goes Weasel. And I will look at them, pallet stun them, point at them at the same time. Because they will not be able to use that perk while they are chasing me.
Have you ever done the thing? So when I first started streaming Dead by Daylight, I think this was like almost 2 years ago, I ran into a killer that like let me escape. I was like the last one, and they're like, like what goes through the heads of killers that play that way?
Oh, I do. Like, there have been games a lot more than not recently, actually, that have been letting people go. More often than not, the mindset I have for it is kind of like, well, who's a sweetie? Who's the sweetest one of this in this entire game?
Oh, that's so wholesome and such a terrifying, horrifying game.
Yeah, okay. And then sometimes it's like one of those situations. Like there was a game where, as much as I say I hate Steve players, there was one game where, this Steve, bless his heart, he I was getting everyone on the floor. Right, and people were going for the heal on this Steve, and they kept missing skill checks on him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Oh, this poor player just keeps getting keeps
giving this man some fucking. Do you keep giving this man some poor hope? Like just this, just this man just getting his hopes destroyed by missed skill checks. So I killed everyone else. Yep, and I was just like, Steve, you just come here, you get your points. Go look through that toolbox. Go get an item or something.
Let Mama Oni give you a hug, and then you can go, baby.
Actually, I was playing Blight when this happened.
Oh, really? When Blight? Yep. Okay.
Yep, okay. I was playing Blight when this happened. I let him go. I was like, go through a toolbox if you want to. Go get your item. He decided that he wanted to watch. Okay, he wanted me to watch him self-care. So I sat there. I wanted to smack him, but I was like, no, I'm being nice. I'm being nice. But on the other hand, in that same regard, there have been times where I have killed survivors just because they take my niceness for granted. And by this, I mean, like, typically I don't know where someone is, right? I'll go to a hook because, obviously someone's there. I will go out of my way to not tunnel somebody. But then the survivor, in my effort to not tunnel, will do this thing where they heal as soon as I like turn my back to them, and I'm like, can you be productive? I look at them like, can you be productive, please? I'm trying to give you a chance. This game,
What are you doing?
all of you are dead at 5 gens. Do something, please.
I will say, if you watch Autumn GX, if you watch her on Twitch and she does stream, when you watch her play DBD, it is the funniest thing I've ever seen, because she's like telling like chat like what to do, what not to do, and she's just like that. She's like, what are you doing? Your teammate's over here, you're over there. She's like, what are you doing? Like, oh, she's like, oh my god, I'm about to rage quit. I'm about to rage quit. She's like, because these teammates are stupid. Like, what are you guys doing? This is ridiculous. I'm about to kill everybody and they're not even trying. Like,
oh my god. And then
okay thing.
And then another thing I guess that goes to my head is like, there are games where like sometimes I'll load into a lobby, and I think one time I remember specifically I was playing Huntress, and like I guess this Fang just did not want to play Huntress. She just had it. She was like, at the very beginning, she just sees me. I hit her with a hatchet. Once she walks right down the basement, I'm like, oh baby, no.
Oh no.
No.
She's giving up.
I just let everyone go at that point. I was like, y'all, and I'm sorry, I can't do this. I can't do this.
I'm so sorry I put you through this.
Y'all just, I don't care about rank that much. I'll get back to rank 1 in this next game. I don't care. Just leave.
Have you ever, was this, okay, you said this was in the lobby, right? Did they just like, or no, this is in a match and they just kind of like gave up? Have you ever picked like somebody in like a lobby, it doesn't matter if it's survivor or killer, just had someone like DC just because of it? Like say if you pick like, I don't know, like say if you pick like, maybe not in lobby because they can't really see like who the killer would be, but say if like the match starts and say if you pick Oni, have you had someone disconnect on you because you picked that character? Really?
Yes.
That's terrible.
There was one game, I remember, so funny. There was one game where I was playing Nurse and it was on Suffocation Pit, and I find this Dwight in like the first 20 seconds and I down him and he just immediately DCs.
That is so awful.
DCs. I was like,
okay. It's fine.
Wow. Oh wow. So
are you gonna do me like that? Okay.
I was like, that's fine. Wow, that's up. Wait, what did I do?
Yeah, I'm just here to play. Like, what did I do? Why are you okay.
I guess he's had it. I guess he's seen too many nurses at that point in time, and I was like, I don't blame you if that's the case, but like,
oh yeah, that's happened to me before. We're just like every single person, like every killer that I had one time when I played ranked, I don't even think I was on stream at that point. It was just like, I think I was playing with my friend Kate. I might have been playing with Autumn, maybe VGY, I don't remember, but it was like every single killer was either Nurse or it was Billy. There was no like in between.
Oh god. I would just have to log off. I would have to log off. That is a sweaty day, and
I've never ever disconnected ever. I think there was one time where I did, and I'm not the type of person to disconnect, like unless my friends do. But I don't think I've ever gotten I've never gotten the penalty, at least not that I can think of. For Tekken, I have.
I have gotten the penalty so many times.
Really? So how does the penalty work if you just DC?
So if you DC, it starts off for 5 minutes, then it goes to like 15, then it goes to 30, and then it goes to an hour, and then it goes longer than that.
That is horrible. Okay, so be honest. What's the longest penalty you've gotten?
An hour.
Really?
Actually, no, I've probably gotten longer now that I think about it. Because I think I've really had it one time, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And then, okay, to be fair though, there was another time where like, sometimes the Dead by Daylight servers like just disconnect me.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened, but like other times I have flat out just DC'd because it was either some BS, like some really overpowered things, like just a spree of eerie head huntresses with like Noed and Blood Warden and Ebony Moris. And I'm like, can I? No. No.
Absolutely not. No, we're not doing this.
No, ma'am. Especially because if they're running Ebony Mori, it's like, listen, I can I can run you for as long as I can, but that also means I'm just gonna get tunneled as soon as I get off this hook. That's all it means.
And then also, so you know that I stream, do you stream on Twitch?
Yes.
Do you stream Dead by Daylight, or do you like what games do you stream on Twitch?
I mainly stream Dead by Daylight now. I used to stream like Overwatch. Sometimes I'll play Apex on stream just because. But mainly Dead by Daylight kind of thing.
Nice. Okay. I love that. I miss playing Dead by Daylight. I need to play it more often. I've been mainly like reading and researching. I haven't played it in a while, but I do know that seeing it, it's interesting too, because for me personally, and I'll say this for me and Autumn and Saki in chat, like a lot of us are actually from like the Mortal Kombat community. What's funny to see is seeing like pro players have like a palate cleansing game. It's really interesting.
A palate cleansing game?
Yeah, so you know, like when you have like your main niche, but you have a game that's like different than what you normally stream. That's how I found Dead by Daylight. That was like my palate cleansing game.
Oh, fair actually.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But no, definitely check us out on Twitch and everything too. Definitely Sai's channel. I'm curious to see. I want to see Sweatfest on your stream, just like how I do Autumn. It's gonna be amazing.
You see, because here's the thing, right? When I get sweaty, it's like everyone gets called some names. Everyone gets called some names.
Oh no.
But you know, it's fine. I don't always mean it, but you know, things do come out.
It happens.
It happens. But it looks like we're also looking into this next game. I don't think I caught the map that it's Torment Creek.
Yes, Torment Creek is the map. It's Team Exodus for Killer.
Okay, this is not Torment Creek.
Oh no, this is Macmillan.
Nope, this is Haddonfield.
I always get the
Nope.
Gotta switch it.
Not this.
Can you imagine if they played Haddonfield?
Wait, hold on. I'm not gonna say that because I saw what the killer was gonna be, but that's surprising.
It's a quick fix, also. Quick fix. So it'll be up in just a second.
Oh, jeez, this is about to be a time.
It's about to be toxic?
It's about to be a time. No, because depending on
Oh, and while we are waiting, what is a chapter that you would like to see released? I wouldn't mind having an alien xenomorph and then a Ellen Ripley character. I think that would be pretty cool.
That's a good question. I don't know, actually. Part of me would really love to see, like, I don't know how to really explain this. Like, kind of like a... Kind of like a control killer. Kind of like how the twins are kind of like on the same route that I'm thinking of. But like, instead of like Victor just being on you can't really do anything, I mean, like, to a degree, the killer can kind of not exactly control everything that you do, but kind of control what you can't do.
Oh, okay.
That'd be an interesting chapter. I'm pretty sure that'd be busted, but that'd be an interesting chapter.
Very interesting.
Queen Frost thinks she wants to see twins. Well,
haven't seen them yet.
Do you want to see twins because you like the killer, or do you want to see people kick Victor? Because this could be a Victor hate account real quick. That looks like we've actually loaded to the map.
Yes, the correct map, Torment Creek. Yes.
Come on, Torment Creek.
Let's go.
Going into Cheryl, it looks like her build is pretty standard outside of Spine Chill.
I like Spine Chill. Oh, and she's got Decisive Strike as well, and Borrowed Time. And is that what's that last one in the corner?
That is Spine Chill.
Oh no, the one bottom.
Oh, that was a
Dead Hard.
Dead Hard. And the Felix is running live, and looks like we're running into another nurse. Oh boy! Like I said, I feel like coming into the into the finale, you're gonna see a lot of nurse.
Yes, and all killers are allowed, by the way, in the finale. The not the final match for today, of course, but 8-week finale, like last match of this tournament series, all killers are allowed.
What I want to kind of see actually is a rule that I know Best of the Best had, where you can't play the same killer twice within a bracket.
Ooh, I like that. Within a bracket? Oh my lord.
Yeah, within the entire day, like the entire bracket.
So you have to
that
pick
way,
one and stick with that one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, you can't play it twice, right? So you can't pick nurse in the first round and then play her again in the finals. Like you have to either play her first, play her second, or whatever the case may be.
That's interesting.
And so that way you also like really pick and choose what killers can you get away with.
I like that. That's a really good rule.
Is that balanced landing?
It is.
The Fang running back. I never thought I would see balanced landing. That's quirky. I love it. Now she's down shortly after it, but I never thought I would see balanced landing in this game. Now can someone give me a head on? And also, I kind of want to talk about the perk at the very, very bottom, and I guess the perk at the top as well for the nurse. She has Thrilling Tremors and Discordance. So what Thrilling Tremors does, because she doesn't have barbecue, Thrilling Tremors, even though it's on a cooldown, it helps identify all gens that are being worked on, and what gens are not being worked on.
Is it similar to Surveillance?
No. So what it does is, when it's off cooldown, when a survivor's picked up, it blocks all generators that are not currently being worked on, and any generator that is being worked on will not be blocked, but it'll also stay red. Any blocked generator will be highlighted in white.
Oh, okay.
This gives the killer really easy information on to where to go. But again, the problem with it is that it's on a cooldown. So sometimes what you may see killers do is pick someone up, but they notice that Thrilling Tremors is back off cooldown, so they'll drop them and then pick it back up so that you can get Thrilling Tremors value. She was also running Discordance, which is a very simple perk. Any generator that has 2 or more people working on it at the same time within a 120-meter radius will be highlighted in yellow. And up to, I believe, 6 seconds, it will stay highlighted in yellow even after both people stop working on it. Or if it's just one person working on it.
I will say, it looked like this nurse was really struggling with this Felix going on right now.
This Felix is
running.
Really, that's another thing about nurse too. And that's why I say she requires a lot of patience. But also, it's one of those things where at some point you kind of have to turn your brain off from playing against nurse. Because if you really try to think while playing against her, there are times where she will be able to read it because she's like, listen, I know typically what survivors tend to do, but if you don't know what you don't know what you're doing yourself, but let's say if you don't know what you're doing yourself, the nurse won't know what you're doing. It will make it harder for her to read you, which will probably cause her to miss a lot more. But also, the only reason I hate this map, and you've actually just seen it, is that some of the collision on this map makes it a little bit harder to blink through.
I agree.
But so far, she's actually doing a really good job.
By collision, do you mean by pallets?
Pallets, any objects in the game, walls. There's also a tech that survivors can use that if you are at a pallet, the survivor can stand literally at the pallet and block your collision, which will make you have to over blink a little bit.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yes. So that is definitely a strategy that I've seen people do. And I'm pretty sure someone, maybe you, have even done it yourself unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
I also really didn't learn that was even a thing until Otto was doing his nurse streak, and he pointed it out, and I was like, oh, interesting.
That's good advice. Ooh, that Felix went down right away.
That was a really good read from her.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we have 4 hooks per killer, and we have...
And 2 gens done, which is 4 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's neck and neck.
Now, from the pacing, how this is, if throwers continue to play, or no, it's not throwers. This is Saga. If they continue to play pretty much the way that they are right now, they should be able to actually get a pretty decent lead in points.
Absolutely.
But it also comes down to how well this nurse actually plays.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking for whoever else is on a gen. No one's popping Discordance. This is why Discordance rolls comes. Ooh, and she finds it. Nancy, that was beautiful. The reason why I don't like Discordance so much is because it does rely heavily on survivors actually grouping up on generators, which is such a risky perk slot because there are games that you will never get a Discordance proc ever. And there are games where it's gonna pop like every 5 seconds just because. And it looks like Collision has cupped her blinks. And I quite frankly relate to that heavily. And I mean heavily.
Ooh, good
Ooh, that
chase
was
on the
good.
fang.
Nice blinks into the fang.
Mm-hmm.
Giving Nurse her 5th point, but there are also 2 other gens done in the process, which means there's 1 gen left and there's not a 3 gen in sight for her to defend. This is gonna be rough.
So that's 5.
Ooh, that was
gonna be
beautiful blink. Oh,
this is gonna be a really close match, I feel.
this is gonna be an interesting match, and she's not running no either, which blessed be to her. Ooh. I believe she's playing the 2nd stage, which is ooh, that is a nice hit on Cheryl. They're going for a heal. Looks like a reset of sorts, actually. If they go for this reset, they can actually get the fang pretty easily. It's just a matter of getting this last gen done as well. Which I see that one. I see one on the other side of the kill shack. It looks like it's not a terrible gen spread, actually. It's definitely manageable.
They're pretty close. They're pretty close in radius.
Pretty close to race, but it's definitely workable. And honestly, I actually do see Exodus actually being able to pull this one out.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly see it, and there goes that pop goes the Weasel value. A huge gen regression coming in, and it will make it so much harder for the survivors to be able to finish that last gen that they need. It looks like they're just gonna stay close. The survivors will try their hardest to keep the nurse away from that 3 gen.
Mm-hmm.
But look at this. She has 2 hooks in the same. Well, never mind. She has a hook in a 3 gen area. Like, she is in a really, really good position.
I like seeing the teamwork, by the way.
Ooh, come on.
Yikes.
Counteracting life.
And the looping begins. Oh, no. Spoke too soon. That was a good hit on the Cheryl, though. Just
That was
getting
beautiful
hooked
on
left
to
and
Cheryl.
right. Oh, yeah.
that was a beautiful him to Nancy will be able to finish her off though. And also with the situation that this nurse is in, honestly, I honestly think that she will be able to get the full 12. She will to get the full points.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that Nancy tried to loop so hard but got caught.
The question is, where's Fang? Will he be able to find her? And hopefully he will be able to find this Fang, because that's going to make the difference. And also, he could go for the hook on this Nancy if he really wanted to, and try to see if he gets any Thrilling Tremors value.
I keep saying generation. This generator management is just, it's so impressive. They have yet to pop that last gen.
It's because they were able to actually just maintain this area so well, or the survivors just really avoided actually going into the 3-gen zone, which it really shows to actually hurt them in the long run. Because now the killer, all she has to do is just blink to each generator, and she has easy lines of sight.
Oh yeah.
And there's not really much they can do about it.
Not at all. Very good management though.
Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say that there's a really good chance that Exodus will be able to win this, depending on how the survivor team plays. Which, honestly, more often than not, because I tend to base the survivor team off the killer, if they play anywhere nearly as good as this nurse is playing, then I have to give it to them.
Oh, there's that Fang. Just saw her. There she is. Good pallet stun. Oh, yep, there she is again. Yeah, definitely a lot of patience to play nurse, because I can see how like the blinking and the teleportation can be kind of confusing. Not confusing, I apologize. Difficult to control.
Yeah, and look at that. GG go next. They got all... So it looks like they will actually be able to go into this with all 12 hooks, actually. That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah. And the deaths that follow as well.
That is honestly really amazing. We love it here.
We love it here.
Love it here.
It looks like it is about to be 12 if they can find Nancy, correct? It was a Nancy they had to find.
Yes.
Oh, and they found her. That was very well played. So they're at, so Team Exodus is going to be at a total points of 14.
That's beautiful. Let's walk into this. They actually came out of this match very strong. The fact that the team only has 8 points. The survivor team coming in from Saga has to play. The killer from Saga has to play perfectly. He has to play perfectly. He has to be able to kill everybody super quickly without slugging or without camping hooks. If they're actually able to pretty much get the 12 hooks necessary and 4 deaths, they actually will be able to clutch this out. Implying that Exodus doesn't do all 5 gens. Whew, that's gonna be tough though.
I'm just like trying to process. Like that was such a big brain play.
That was just the problem is it was really smart of Nurse to be able to actually maintain that 3 gen, but then I'm also starting to question how did that 3 gen happen?
Hmm.
Because that is beyond me. Because I thought that because normally a lot of survivors, especially from the previous games, have been breaking these 3 gens and making it way harder for the killer to be able to patrol the gens. But this one, it was just given to the killer. Especially on a map like that with that kind of spread, that was just dangerous.
I did remember reading that when it comes to being on a team and you're playing Survivor, it's best to kind of go back and forth to each side of the map. That way,
Yes.
something like that doesn't happen.
Yes. There are perks like that that also help as well, like Deja Vu,
Mhm.
that whenever a generator is completed, what Deja Vu does, it shows you the 3 closest generators. So this actually helps break 3 gens a lot easier. Because you're like, okay, there are 3 gens right here. Let's do this one right here, which makes it a little bit harder for this 3 gen to happen. And then just keep attacking the spread until there is no spread. Or no, until there is a major spread, until there's like no gens actually close to each other.
Yeah.
And kind of like Gandhi said, sometimes the best method is to attack the center and then go outwards, but don't stay on the same side of the map.
Right. Oh, that's super incredible too. Just the way that like with prioritizing, because it makes it seem like with the 3 gen that they kind of worked on one side of the map and then just kind of slowly migrated to like the other.
Yeah. And that's another thing too that the nurse did really well, is that she didn't really commit to too many chases that she knew would take her away from the 3 gen.
Oh yeah, this nurse did not get distracted really at all.
She said, I have the spot right here and I'm gonna keep it.
Yep. Keep my eye on everybody.
Mine.
Mine.
As
my
you
generator.
should. We're going to this next match with Saga on Killer and Exodus on Survivor. This is going to be very interesting because now I want to see how this goes. I want to see the Survivor team.
I know, me too. And then as soon as whoever is the winner between Saga and Exodus, they go on to the finale of week 2's Alive by Nightfall tournament series. It would be the Throwers versus whoever wins this match.
Yeah, it's looking like, I'm gonna be honest, it's looking like it's gonna be Throwers against Exodus. But we'll have to see how the players in Saga actually play versus the players of Exodus, who are starting to look like a really strong team.
Very strong team.
And I'm terrified. I'm terrified.
Because you and your team, you have to re-enter next week, correct?
No.
No?
We don't play again until the finale.
Oh.
So if Exodus goes into the finale, that's gonna be a team I'm scared to face.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I see now. If you fail to qualify, you may keep entering in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Once
whoever is done with this week does not play again until May 9th.
Oh, right. Because you were part of Los Randys, correct?
Yep.
Yep, because you guys won last week.
You won last week in a nail biter, and quite frankly, the last bit of that game had me confused, but we still won.
It was very, very, very close. I could just feel like just by losing by 1 point from the Throwers, like I know this definitely lit a fire underneath them to do better this week.
Shoot, it put a fire underneath me to do better too, because I saw the hook and I was like, I am confused. Wait a minute, how did those 3 gens just pop right under my nose? What is this?
But you guys won too, which is amazing.
Did.
And you guys did really, really well too.
Very well. I have to give it to the Survivor side of Los Randys because they are some monsters. I don't think I've ever actually been more, how can I say this? I guess openly confused about how some of the survivors can play the way they do and just get away with it. Especially the Steve.
The Steve, yes. Oh my
he
goodness.
was just a Chad.
A complete Chad. Teabagging, twisting around, him and that flashlight. We were living for it though.
I was just sitting there like, how?
Like, okay.
That's the kind of survivor that I don't like going against at all, because they are cocky, but they know they can be cocky.
Oh, absolutely. They just get right into your head, no problem. Now, let's talk about some toxic behaviors from killers. Can we talk about that?
Toxic. Oh, you mean? Oh my god. Okay. So there's stuff like hook smacking. Like whenever a killer is mad at you for whatever reason, because you outplayed them, or maybe because you outplayed them, they start smacking on the hook and acting like you're the worst person in the universe, and like stay mad. But sometimes you do that. Face camping, pretty toxic, because they just stare at you on the hook. They just want to watch you die. They just want to watch you die.
It's the sadisticness for me.
I'm not gonna say. You know what? I've done this actually, but teabagging this ghost face.
Yep. Yep.
I've definitely done it. Yep.
I've done it.
Last time I remember doing it was because an LED pallet stunned me. Now it's not because I was mad, but it was like that kind of thing where I got a full stock onto this lorry, and I didn't know they saw me, because apparently they did. And I didn't know who all was there, but I started going around the corner to get this lorry, and the LED just comes up from out of nowhere and just pallet stuns me. And I was like, where did you come from? I did not see her at all.
Snuck up right underneath your nose.
Oh my god. Yeah. That was a trip. That was a time and a half. But it was kind of funny.
And it looks like, oh, is puppy guarding allowed?
What's puppy guarding?
What's puppy guarding, Queen?
What is puppy guarding? Hold on, I don't even know what that is.
Gen guarding, maybe?
Maybe.
And it looks like we're going to go ahead and load into the next match. This is actually the semifinals.
Semifinals going to the next one. Whoever wins this will be in the final round.
You love to see a sprint versus decisive strike.
And it's another pig.
Oh, yes. Okay, we love to see a piggy.
Now, I'm curious to see this, because this team, I know for a fact, will not be nearly as reckless as the last team was. They will definitely not be as quick to sabo hooks in your face. Well, I'm gonna go for breakout plays as well. So I'm actually really excited to see how this piggy does against a team like this. Also, yes, like Zay said, Queen, whenever you camp, you do lose points.
Yeah. So, like, if you camp like a hook, not allowed to do that. Tunneling, there's no penalty for.
So if you let someone get the unhook, but then you immediately tunnel them off the hook, you get the full points for it. And to clarify what proxy camping means, it's not like, you're chasing a survivor around the same area. No, it means like you are actively not doing anything but camping. It looks like there's about to be into the basement.
We've never seen this before. This is
and she got the B hook. Oh, not this. And she has 3 stacks to save the best for last. Now let's see actually if she's able to get all 8 stacks. Because the second she gets all 8 stacks, it's a dangerous game that the survivors will be playing mid-chase.
That was the first time we've ever seen a killer take a survivor into the basement in the tournament. I want to see more.
Is that really?
Yes. I don't think at all last week we saw that.
I think because for the most part, the survivors have been really, really good about staying away from the basement.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Go for the ambush. Go for the ambush. Do not lose your stacks. Oh, no.
Nice.
Oh, it's a nice hit, but that's going to hurt in the long run.
That's going to hurt the survivor.
No, it's actually going to hurt the pig a little bit.
The pig? How so?
Yes. Because with Save the Best for last... Oh, wow. Ooh, that vacuum was questionable. But the reason why is because with Save the Best for last, ideally, you want to get as many stacks as you can. Because the obsession, when you hit the obsession while using this perk with the normal M1, you lose 2 stacks per hit.
Oh, no.
The pig only had 3 stacks, which is sure 15% reduction and or 50% recovery boost, but it hurts because she just lost all of that.
Okay.
But she did get another hook point out of it, so that's good. However, they have 2 gens done.
Yes, so it would be...
This is gonna
18.
hurt.
Okay, yeah.
The play here would actually be to go for the key and stall out any progress that she could possibly have in taking that trap off. Actually, hold on. I do want to see, because I don't think this part was ever clarified, because I don't think anyone actually thought this would happen. If a survivor's head pops from a pig trap, will that count for all the points?
Ooh. We'll have to find out.
I don't know if that was ever actually covered. I don't think it was.
I do know that if they die on the ground and they bleed out, I don't believe that's a point.
But the difference is with pig traps that they never go off while you're on the ground.
Right.
They only happen, the camera only goes off when you're not in chase and walking or running.
That is a good point. We do have our curators listening behind the scenes, so we'll definitely come back to that.
Surely. Like I said, I don't think anyone will ever account for that happening.
Oh, no, not at all. We haven't seen it yet.
This is like seeing a pig in a tournament setting is definitely not something you would ever think of seeing, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that she is one of the weaker killers in the game.
But it seems like
sex.
the pig mains we've seen, they seem to be making it work.
So far, yes. And honestly, the fact that these 2 hooks that she got, I don't think that there's a way to come back from it, but she is doing pretty well considering the killer that she is playing, especially with a build like this.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a nice bottom from the Jake. You'll extend this chase a lot longer, and quite frankly, this should buy them enough time to finish the last gen. And the pig is not running no way, which is gonna hurt so much harder. Oh, and the head and the... Come on, Kate. Come on, head pop. Come on, head pop. The Kate is now dead from the head pop, so now I'm wondering, how are these points counted?
We are waiting for our curators on that question. All of us are in the Discord, whether it's production, commentators, organizers.
So many other points were remaining on the survivor. So that's an extra 2 points.
How many times were they hooked? 1 time.
I think. Is that extra 2 points? Oh, 3 points. Okay. Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that's the extra 3 points on the word. Come on, head pop.
So if she was hooked once, then it's 3 points, 2 hooks plus 1 death. So yes, that's a 3 points.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. It's good now that it's good now that we actually know that. Now, is there a chance that we're gonna see a lot more pig because of it? No, but it's nice to know that that's a thing.
Yes. Exactly. All the gens are finished and everyone's trying to get away.
Oh, so boop her snoot.
Boop her snoot.
Boop, she wants you to boop the snoot. She already knows it's over. Just boop the snoot, please.
Boop it. It's fine. She's not gonna hurt you.
Boop it. No, oh, sad piggy. Oh.
It's okay. She really said, I'm out. XOXOXOX.
Oh, Sag. This man's just wanted the boob snooted.
That is so wholesome.
Oh. Or the snoot booped. I don't know how to speak, apparently.
Boop it is all we see in all caps.
Just boop it! Just boop the snoot, please!
Denial. Oh no. All right. So it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, Exodus moves on to the finale with the throwers.
Ooh, that's gonna be exciting to watch.
That's gonna be a good time.
Is anything about throwers? They know how to turn it up whenever they need to. I know that much. And they definitely will.
Probably some of the sweatiest people that I personally know when it comes to playing this game. I am so excited for this final match between the throwers and Team Exodus. So with the throwers, we're very familiar with Glyph, and they play Nurse, if I'm not mistaken. And then with Exodus, we just saw them play Piggy. So
no, Exodus was playing Nurse too.
Oh, they were.
So it's another Nurse showdown. It's another Nurse showdown. I'm calling it right now. It's another Nurse showdown.
So do you think we're going to see two nurses in one match?
I see it. I see it happening. They're gonna give it all they got.
This is gonna be one of the sweatiest matches. Honestly, I think this might be sweatier than last week. Last week was pretty sweaty. But I'm so curious to see.
Oh my god, I'm so curious to see.
Yes, this is the last match of the night. So I want to see people come for blood. I want to see basement hooks. I want to see everything.
Wait, the next map is Temple of Purgation.
Yes.
Oh, this is interesting. Hold on. I don't think I've seen Temple of Purgation actually be played yet.
No, we haven't.
Because Temple is actually a pretty decent sized map, and Nurse is not allowing her ranged add-ons. This is actually gonna be interesting. Is this gonna be one of those games where you actually may not see Nurse, but we may see a faster killer? It's very possible.
So this could make or break.
This actually can be a make or break game.
This is so exciting.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
And I wonder if we're able to get... Okay, I don't know how to do the predictions, but press 1 for throwers, press 2 for Exodus. In chat.
Oh my god. Personally?
Let's hear it.
Personally, I feel like this is...
It's going to be so close.
I think Exodus is... They're going to do something. The Exodus is going to do something. And if possible, I honestly think Exodus might have a chance of forcing a 3-gen.
Maybe.
And we've seen what can happen when you force a 3-gen.
So I do have a question. So whoever plays killer, can they change players that play the killer, or do they have to stick with that killer? Like that player that plays killer.
Oh, yeah, no, they can change the killer. They can change whoever plays killer.
Okay.
Right, so like with Los Randy's, like I'm the primary killer, but there is another person that can't play killer. And he is the captain, and I've seen the other killers that he can play. I'm glad he can play the other killers I can't play, because I don't feel like playing some of the other ones ever.
Like ever. Like no.
Ever. No. Nope. Against any good judgment I have, I am not doing it. But you can definitely change up who plays killer. There's no set person to play a killer.
I wonder who's gonna play killer, because it looks like it's gonna be if I'm not mistaken.
Smoke.
It's gonna be throwers playing killer.
No, it's gonna be Exodus playing killer. It looks like it. It looks like it.
Looks like it. Oh, throwers playing survivors. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah, survivors playing survivors.
Yes. Yeah.
Jay, I am sorry, okay? I'm not saying who's gonna win. I don't know who's actually gonna win.
Just prediction. Just like it's ESPN. Just prediction.
And it is hard to say. It is super hard to say because I had to play against y'all last week, and that was a nail biter, and I don't know, man. This is gonna be rough. This is gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be close.
So
there's no way around it.
Okay. We'll try not to curse everyone. I'm just really excited. We're just excited and we're happy for both teams. And no matter who wins, we're just not only happy to be here, but we're so proud of everyone that's played within this tournament. It's been super sweaty. It's been super competitive and it's been fascinating to watch and learn.
And you're still gonna have 6 more weeks after this? After this week to still get into finale. So you always have the time to
absolutely.
Get back in there and just tear up the competition.
Yes, most definitely.
And if you don't make it this week, always come back stronger next week. Because I know there are some teams that had to drop out this week as well.
Yes.
So surely you're going to see some stiff competition next week as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, so real quick for chat, there's gonna be an intermission. There's a little bit of a difficulty going on.
Mm-hmm.
So in a couple minutes, we'll be resuming with like the regular gameplay. So sit tight, we'll be perfectly fine. Once this is all over, we'll be back to our regular match gameplay.
Yes.
It'll be great.
All right. And we're back.
We're about to reload into the final match. The Throwers versus Exodus, and quite frankly, it's going to be a real nail biter.
It's going to be an absolute sweat fest.
And we're going to be on Temple of Purgation as well.
I'm sorry. I just know that Dinah is such a Quentin stan, and seeing her prestige Quentin just makes me so happy. I don't know why, but it's
someone has to be a Quentin main in this house.
Someone's gotta be.
I'm glad it's Dinah.
Me too.
I'm glad it is. As long as that is not an Ash stand, then I'm perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, no, we stand the Quentin stands. We're okay with that. Someone's got to love that face, man.
Someone does.
Someone said help in the chat. Oh, no. Help. I mean, hey, I'm a massive Joji fan, so that's kind of equivalent, but in like the music industry. I see
it. I guess.
I can see it.
All right, so we're loaded in. We're finally about to get this final match started.
Yes.
And looks like the first perk we actually see is Corrupt Intervention.
Mm-hmm.
The real question is it gonna be another nurse?
And
it is gonna be another nurse. This build's interesting. Hold on.
Is that I'm all ears that I see?
That is I'm all ears.
Okay, we haven't seen this before. This is our first time seeing a ghost face.
I haven't either.
Perk.
So Throwing Tremors is actually a ghost face perk.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Exodus was running Throwing Tremors in the last round, but I'm all ears is an interesting perk, especially on this map. Because ideally, I'm all ears is a perk that you want to run on something that has a lot of line of sight blockage and has a lot of vaults, like Clearies, but Clearies is not playable. Running all ears on this map is... I'm wondering how this is going to work.
Looks like any survivor performing a rushed action within 48 meters from your location will have their orb revealed to you for 6 seconds.
Yes.
Says, unlocks the potential in aura.
Yes, so the rush action, what it means is by vaulting and actually exiting out of lockers. It also procs when exiting out of lockers in a fast action.
That's interesting.
The thing about this map, though, is that unless you're looping around a jungle gym, I don't see too many situations where Amoliers is that useful. But surely they have an idea, because they weren't running it last round.
Oh no, not at all. Maybe it's one of those perks that's just something.
Ooh, that dead hard.
Yeah, the dead hard.
Golly. Dead hard by any means is not bad on Nurse. It's actually really good. It's just I'm curious about the perk on this map.
And this killer too.
No, this killer is really good using Amoliers. Like really good using Amoliers. It's just the map selection for it. Looks like there are 2 gens done already within that one chase, and ooh. It doesn't look like they got any any Throwing Tremors procs or any Throwing Tremors value. They see what gens were being worked on, they were pretty spread out. And they found Miss Dinah on the Quentin. While the unhook on the glider also came in the background. Now how fast will she be able to end this chase with Dinah though? Because that'll be the make or break in the situation. If he can end the chase with Dinah in a pretty quick fashion, there's a chance that they can actually come out of this with at least 5 points. But on this map, ooh. And that'll be a second point coming in for the side of Exodus.
Yes.
It looks like Throwing Tremors is not off cooldown, so they will not be able to see what generators are being worked on and which ones are not. I can see that they try to take a look to see what gens were going right and which ones weren't. And the immediate save coming out of the Quint. Right now they're checking gens. Will they go back to the hook and see who just unhooked Quinn and probably go for that aggro? And she found the Nia, and she found the Nia.
And the looping chase begins.
Looping can be so painful because there are multiple levels. There's just so much line of sight blockage, and even blinking down here is
good hit. That was a good hit.
Amazing. Okay. I was going to say blinking down here can be a really, really painful experience because there are a lot of like that obstacles that can really block your blinks, and you can just see the visible frustration. I relate. I feel your pain, brother. It's fine. It happens.
Take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay.
Take a deep breath.
We've all been through it. Oh, and here goes the Claudette.
Will Claudette actually go down here? Will there be a chance? Nope, it does not look like she is going to go down here. Ooh, but she's still in the same loop. And the blink got swallowed.
That was a whiff.
And all the gens got done. That has to be frustrating.
What a bunch of gen walkies, my goodness.
To see all those gens actually, to see all those blinks get swallowed due to all the collision on this map, that is just frustrating to see as a fellow Nurse player. Will they be able to at least get another point for this Claudette?
Because so far they've only got 2 hooks, right? 2 hooks thus far.
Yep, he only got 2 hooks and he has to go for this Claudette. He has to. And they're gonna take the 3-man out, and that is 16 points for the side of throwers. Oof, that is going to be...
That's going to be a tough one to come back from.
It is going to be a very tough one to come back from. It was even a tough one to come back from when I only got, what was it, 6 points, I believe? For when I played against them last week.
But you did it.
Survivor did it. I didn't do it. My survivors did it. But that's going to be a really hard one to come back from.
So we got... what, 16-10? Yes.
Oh, wait. No, it'd be 16.
16-2. Jesus, I can't even.
16
4.
4, I believe.
Oh my god. I'm smelling toast.
16
over here.
4.
I apologize. Mhm.
It is 16 4.
All right. Because what I'm doing, I'm silently like kind of keeping track because I have like my computer notepad. I finally have my second monitor up, which is nice, but I have a notepad that's like on my computer. So I'm kind of like adding the points up like as much as I can, just kind of like on the side.
I just have my second monitor up and I'm just eyeing the points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So that was the first round over. 16. We're looking at 16-4 from Side Thor's being in a 12-point lead. I'll be honest, that hurts.
It did.
That hurts. It hurt to see mainly the blink swallows.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that he was taking the chase downstairs, I sat there. I was like, "This is not gonna. This cannot end well. There's no way."
Do you think they broke under pressure?
I don't know if they broke under pressure, but Red Forest without add-on or without ranged add-ons whatsoever is already hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
But when they go into main building specifically on Temple is incredibly hard to chase this nurse because there are a lot of collision that just swallows your blinks and it's not fun to play with. So I don't blame them for any points that they missed out on because of it. I don't.
But just like before, they just pop gens all around them.
Surely enough.
Oh, yes. So when it came to wanting, like, say if you had to create like your own chapter for DBD, you said that you wanted a killer that would control things. Do you mean like controlling like survivors, possibly?
Okay, kind of. You ever watched Naruto?
I have, yes.
Shikamaru.
Oh, like
his
shadow.
kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, like the shadow jutsu. Yes, that would be sick. That would be such a good idea. I really, really wanted them to do like Pennywise and do like more like a grown-up Bill or like a grown-up Ben or something. But come to find out, that would be interesting. But come to find out, they were actually trying to have Pennywise in game, but I think there was a licensing issue because the Stephen King remakes were coming out. So they put Clown in there instead, and they modeled him after. If you're into true crime, if you're into like serial killers, he's actually modeled after John Wayne Gacy, which is really cool.
I know. Wait, it was the same. I know Kate was modeled after someone else too.
Let me take a look. See.
Kate was supposed to be someone else, and I forgot who she was supposed to be.
Dead by Day. Let's look at the wiki because I've been reading a lot of stuff on that, which is nice. I don't know. She does kind of remind me of someone, but I can't really put my finger on it.
I think it was like Cindy or something. No.
Let me see here. Release trivia. Here we go. Oh, Kate was intended to be an original Survivor counterpart of the Cannibal, created by the developers themselves.
Yeah,
he did not have one specific for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what? She does kind of look like a little bit, but I think the girl was blonde. She didn't have. No, is Kate blonde?
Kate is blonde.
Red hair. Oh,
Kate is blonde.
Blonde. Okay.
Kate is naturally blonde.
Yes. Yes, she is. Okay. Yep. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, because she looks like the girl from like the last scene of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what she reminds me of. Okay. That's familiar. Because with Kate, who did she come out with? Did she come out with Cloud? Oh no, she came.
No. I don't think she came out with anybody.
I don't think she did either.
I don't remember her coming out with anybody.
I don't either. Hmm. Let's take a look here. But chat, definitely let us know who are your favorite survivors and favorite killers. Definitely feel free to tell us. For me personally, I think my favorite.
Oh,
Oh, go
apparently
ahead.
Kay came out with Clown.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
Curtain
they were
call.
they were both supposed to be someone else.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's what I love. Like something about
It's
like
funny.
game development teams. I absolutely love like hearing like the inspiration behind like the name or like a character or like lore. Like something about like lore, like I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And then I think oh, I didn't remember if they were trying to put hmm, I don't think they were ever going to get Jason because who other than so there's similar games like Dead by Daylight. There's Friday the 13th, of course.
Hmm.
There's I actually on my Twitch channel, I'm not going to self promote too much or anything really, but I have played a couple games in similarity to Dead by Daylight. There is In Silence. Most of these games are found on Steam. Of course, there's always Monstrum or Monstrum 2. I know they have those games out and everything as well. Who here played Friday the 13th? I did play that game for quite a bit and it was pretty fun. Actually, it's funny because I originally wanted to play Friday the 13th only, but I think it was Vincent Vega. I saw him play Dead by Daylight and like I've seen the Entity's Left Hand. I've seen him play and I'm like, I absolutely need to get this game because all my friends had it already and I didn't realize that Friday the 13th was already dying as a game.
Like, okay, I think I played Friday the 13th a little bit, and then I don't know what it was about it. It was an interesting game. Loved the concept, but it seemed very clunky. So it was kind of like,
Mhm.
ugh. I feel like if they actually were able to put the resources into Friday the 13th, it would have been an amazing game to play.
Mhm.
It just seemed very, very clunky.
I agree. There's definitely like a lot of bugs and it just like I feel like with the development team too because there had been different licensing I think for each movies within the franchise. If I'm not mistaken, I think my friend Emmy told me that there was something weird going on. That actually that development team or the team that created Friday the 13th, they actually moved on and ended up doing Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh.
Hmm. So it's very similar. But I think in Predator, it's a little bit more I haven't played it, but I think it's a little bit different. Like Alien versus Predator, it's basically like that. But that's where like the Predator, Alien, the Predator movies, of course. Oh,
I kind of want to see that happen.
are they making
That
a
would be an interesting
Halloween
game.
game? Oh, that would be yes.
Wait,
Her
a
Alien
Halloween
versus
game?
yeah. Let me Google that real quick. But yes, like the Predator Hunting Grounds, I heard a lot of people had a lot of fun with.
Hmm.
And
Fair enough.
we have to keep in mind as well that Ash is getting his own game as well too.
Oh yeah, that's right. He said screw the licensing for Dead by Daylight and just decided to make his own game.
Right? Like, come on. And actually, within the Mortal Kombat community, it was rumored that we would have Ash Williams as a fighter. We have yet to see that for Combat
Oh,
Pack 3, of course. We've yet to see it.
I
But
I know Bubba was put in Mortal Kombat.
yes, he was in Mortal
That
Kombat
was
X.
I never looked at I didn't know this was a thing, but I looked at the gameplay. I was like, even in Mortal Kombat, he seems busted, and I kind of hate it. I kind of hate it. Oh god. Um, but I
I
think
guess.
that the licensing situations just are so curious because apparently they also renewed the Halloween license. So we're gonna be getting some more Myers and Lori content soon. And I
Mhm.
think also a Haddonfield rework.
Yes. And because they're making, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're making another Halloween film, right? Or did that
Yeah,
already
they
come
are.
out? They are,
They
yes.
are making another one.
Ah, that's so exciting.
That's like gonna be really exciting. Waiting to see that happen. I'm wondering if they're ever gonna get the Nightmare on Elm Street situation figured out.
What's the situation with that?
Basically, I don't know how to. I don't know exactly what happened, but there was like a little bit of a complication between like behavior and the Nightmare on Elm Street licensors. So that's why you don't really see cosmetics for Freddy or Quentin.
Hmm.
Like Bill's just now getting cosmetics in this next rift.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah, Freddy is like one of the only. He doesn't. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have any skins. Now that I think of it, he has no customization at all.
Nope. Quentin, Bill, and Freddy are like the ones that don't have anything. Quentin only other cosmetics only come if you buy the DLC pack. If you buy him individually, you don't get those cosmetics. But if you buy the pack, you get like some extra little bits of clothing.
What?
Yeah.
Because you would think for like the holiday skins, they would include everyone.
You would think so, but due to the licensing, they can't really do much with Quentin or Freddy. Now, I guess in consummation of that, you did get a Demogorgon skin that is highly questionable in terms of what I can call it, but at some point, I would love to see Nightmare on Elm Street actually get more DLC.
I will say, I kind of just thought of this now. So I used to be a massive fan of Chucky and like those the Child's Play films. I think tell me how interesting this would be. This would kind of be like Amanda rather than being Jigsaw, but kind of like with the twins as well. Imagine like having Tiffany, right, as a killer, but she can summon Chucky. That would be sick. And then having Andy as like a survivor, I think I would like that better than the Xenomorph.
Honestly, Chucky is a killer. I feel like it's gonna have you know what? I feel like he's gonna it's gonna have that problem where he's just so tiny. Are
you talking about the twisted Demogorgon where you can kind of see like skin?
No. Wait, what?
Or the chain one. I'm looking at. Hang on, I'll post it.
No. I mean the one that he looks like he is just covered in bodily secretions of the sexual orientation.
Oh, I see that. What? What is this behavior?
From what they call it, it's a geomutation Demogorgon.
Okay. That's okay.
It is funny because in the artwork, it doesn't look that bad.
Mm-hmm.
In like the 2D artwork that they had, like the concept artwork that they had, it didn't look that bad. And then they released it, and it's like, why is he?
I'm speechless.
It just, the amount of please. Please.
Oh no.
The link is not bad.
The link's not bad.
The link is not bad. I
would not do that to Autumn or Nips. I promise you. I would not do that to the CGL channel. But that is the cosmetics that we're currently talking about. That is extremely questionable. I will say, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah,
it's very questionable.
Yes, that's it. Just yes.
Just that. That's it. I do. I do want to see. Oh, it looks like they've added more. Okay, they have added more for Stranger Things. Okay, you love to see it.
Yeah. So we all knew. Okay, so that's the funny thing. When the cosmetics were being talked about for the Stranger Things one, where we knew what was happening, I already had an idea of what they were going to release, and I was like, okay, that's nice. Like, that's a cute little outfit for Steve and Nancy, even though they did Nancy's hair something way different than what this scene in the show was. But I guess that's because it was way too close to the original, so they had to do something different. Which I'm also assuming that they ran it by the licensed people and just being like, is this okay? Now, I'm just wondering, how did they how did they run it by the licensed people for the Demogorgon skin? And then they said, oh yeah, no, this is perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with the dripping white stuff.
Like they were totally cool with it. Like
absolutely nothing.
Oh my god. That is extremely that's extremely questionable for sure. Well, I'm kind of curious to see all of Nancy Wheeler's because I know they added the babysitter costume. I absolutely love for Steve Harrington. I'm a massive fan of the Stranger Things series. I absolutely loved all the cosmetics they included for Steve.
Yeah, all the Steve cosmetics are they're actually pretty cute. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I love these because okay, I see what they did. I like that. I do like the red jacket with her hair in the ponytail. This is the season. I think this is actually one of the season 1 looks where she's going shooting with Jonathan. I will say I wish they would have added Jonathan. Like, can you imagine having one killer, 3 survivors? I think Jonathan would have deserved to be in the game. But I am
That'd
happy
be
that they
iconic.
I
Well,
would love it.
a concept that people are they kind of want is kind of the thing that they're doing with Cheryl, where they for her binded skins or legendaries, they're giving them or they gave her the alternate identities of the show, right, while using the same character model. They could definitely do that with Steve and Nancy if they really wanted to.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh, they said Billy and Robin legendary skins. I think that's what they were talking about. Billy and Robin. Which honestly, if Billy was a legendary reskin for Steve, I would not be mad.
Oh,
I would not be mad.
Love that. Oh my god.
I'd simp. They can bully me. They can bully me. I don't care.
They can
honestly. And no, this is not a thirst stream whatsoever. I'm just saying they can bully me, and I would apologize.
Legendary Skins suggested, oh my god, if they had the pretty lady mask with like the tuxedo for Leatherface, I would cry. Like, I would ugly cry.
Honestly, yeah.
A Barbara skin for Nancy. Yes. That would be amazing. Oh, and then for Bill, all the other Left 4 Dead survivors, yes, ma'am. Like, heck yes. Like, I would love that. Oh, another good one. Okay. I don't remember who it was, but I've seen this before, is Clock Tower. Do you know what that is?
Clock Tower, I think so.
It's a really, really, really old horror game, like from, if I'm not mistaken, like maybe early 90s, late 80s. It's the Scissor Man.
Oh,
yes, with Jennifer. Yes.
Oh, please. I would be so happy.
I want that so bad. Let me make sure that we're keeping up in chat and everything too, because someone said some of their favorites were Bubba and Steve. Kate is a doctor and a Kate main. Let's take a look here. The Evil Within DBD DLC would be pretty amazing. Like, have Sebastian or Kidman go after. I think her name's Laura. Have you played The Evil Within?
No.
It's a good
I thought
game.
about it.
I recommend the first one. The second one, I did not like personally. I think Bethesda ruined it. But if you liked Resident Evil 4, I would highly recommend playing The Evil Within. It's really, really good.
I think I've played. I know I've played Resident Evil. Wait, a nurse?
Yes. A nurse skin for I want a bubblehead nurse legendary for Spirit. Okay.
That's interesting.
Or like a Grudge outfit. Oh yes, yes, yes.
Oh yes. Give me the Grudge for Spirit, please. Please.
I mean, it would be so easy. It would be so easy.
She's already really close to the character model.
Already super close. I feel like, what if they were trying to come up with the licensing for that? Now, this isn't canon, but like, yeah, or Samara, exactly. Like, those killers would be amazing. Can you imagine? And then having like a Mori, like for Samara, yeah, like a Samara Spirit, like go through the screen. Oh, it'd be so nice.
Honestly, because I feel like that's what Spirit was supposed to be, low-key, because their passive phasing gives me very much just, just Samara, very much Grudge.
Yes, very Japanese horror.
Absolutely. And I'm here for it.
Yes.
It looks like we're going to be starting our final round of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, going to Temple of Purgation. The Throw is at 16, Exodus at 4.
Yes.
Quite frankly, from this point, Lee, looks like the Throwers pretty much have it in the bag. But you don't know. Something can always happen. Something can always happen.
Yes, we did see last week that the Throwers lost by 1 point from your team, Sai. So maybe
the crazy thing about it is that it actually could have been a 3-point difference. Is just
It could have been.
I guess my team felt like giving the charity, and just gave him two more points. Regardless, also Alex says he loves me. I love him too.
All right, and it looks like we have a nurse again. Okay.
Of course, as I thought.
Yes. Same
very
perks.
strong killer. Actually,
Different.
he's using the same perks as he did before.
Okay.
But the thing is, his slowdown is a bit different. He's going for gen regression as well as healing slowdown as well, while also going for no hit. He's trying to really de-incentivize his survivors from being able to reset early, which is probably going to be for the best, because they are already going to be working injured, and if they choose to work injured, it gives them more time to catch people out and be able to one-shot them a little bit easier. Well, overall, this is actually pretty exciting, and the Kate is downed. That'll be one point for the throwers going in, and no generators done yet.
Not yet.
This hook coming in before Corruption Bench is even done. That is good. That is dangerous. Ideally, if he can get another hook before Corrupt's over, honestly, I think this is in the bag for him.
I would also like to add that someone in chat, and I just now noticed it too, Anxious, thank you for pointing that out.
Wait, Jay, is that what add-ons?
No add-ons.
Oh,
nothing.
Okay, that's spicy. Now, the thing about Nurse is that she doesn't need add-ons. Nurse truly does not need add-ons. Her power at her base is just good as is. You don't need recovery. You don't need fatigue. You don't need like just any add-ons whatsoever. But they're just nice to have.
Yes. Someone says that's a true nurse main right there.
Okay. You know what? Catch me at the finale. But he is a really good nurse. He is a really good nurse. I will always give him that credit, is that he is incredibly good at nurse.
Oh, and there goes a hit to the Claudette.
And I can see him getting it down pretty soon onto this Claudette. Looks like he lost it. No, he didn't.
There she is.
Oh, there we go. Down number 2.
It's gonna be another hook point.
It's another hook point. Honestly, I think with this how the scoring is right now, unless he literally does not get another hook and they get all gens done and all survivors get out, there's no way that they can come back from this. Like, they have to play this perfectly. Oh, and he has found the Kate once again on the lower floor. He will not actually... Now, I don't know why the Kate left downstairs. If she had chosen to take the loop downstairs, there's a chance that she could probably run Jay for a while.
I believe this Kate also has sprint first, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly. I think she does as well, and if that's the case, that one's gonna hurt in the long run. And as someone pointed out in chat, Ruin is doing some work. It hasn't been cleansed yet, to my surprise, honestly, because last week totems were just getting cleansed left and right.
Yeah.
No one was getting totems. I'm like, it was at the point where at the finals, Jay ran Noed at the finals as well, and those Randys, they cleansed all the totems while gen rushing. I'm still trying to figure out how that worked.
Looks like we're gonna start this chase with this Nia here.
Ooh, that's a nice little hit on some Nia.
If they only would have had a little bit more distance.
The Dead Hard. The Dead Hard's gonna extend chase for a little bit, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. Ooh, and the window vault made it too easy for that hit to happen. That'll be another hook for Jay, and if he kills this Kate, that'll be 2 extra points on the board, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be a GG. So all he has to do is just go for this Kate. That's all he has to do.
Oh, another gen pop. So it looks like
the gen pop and the blink has swallowed.
Yeah, so it looks like that's 8 points, I believe, to Exodus. Yep.
8 points to Exodus, so... Thor is at 20 and Exodus is at 12.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, unless the Claudette can somehow run him for the last gen and through the exit gate opening and they can all get this Claudette out, then
GG.
there's no way.
Yeah.
Oh, the down's gonna move, but he's gonna lose the distance because he ran into a wall.
Here we go.
His last gen doesn't know it is proc. They all know that he has Noed. So you can go for one or two approaches here. He can go for the hook and immediately go for someone like the Kate. That will be a way more value. Or he can go for the hook and camp this out.
I think he's gonna camp it out.
That'd be 20. He should not camp this out. Actually, no, he can camp this out, and they would still get out, and he would still win.
So is this technically GG's? I don't think
Yes.
he's gonna be able to.
The only way that this is not GG's at this point is if they manage to unhook the Kate and get her out. If they get a 4-man out, it's over. The Throwers would have lost by 1 point. But I don't see that happening. It's just because they have not cleansed Noed yet.
No, they haven't at all. Oh, the Claudette that's on the hook. Okay.
He's going to camp it out. He's going to get 1 point for the death. That'd be 22 points, and the max that they can get at this point will be 20.
Oh, there's that Kate. There she is. And
GG.
downed.
GG's.
Very well done.
He's going for the oh! And he got the...
Oh, that was big brain. Oh, and there's a kill. Well, about to be. Third struggle currently.
Oh my. At this point, I feel like they have to know that it's GG's.
Yeah.
That even Thea had delivered, she can't get out of this hook.
Looks like it's just kind of search and hook right now.
With that, that is indeed a win for the Throwers, and the Throwers will not have to play again until May 9th. Where we will be seeing them once again.
It escalated very quickly. I 100% agree with that.
You know, I expect nothing less. Especially after the last close performance from last week, I was hoping that they would win this week.
I figured that they would, but you never know with these new teams showing up.
Truly. And they said, don't the commentator curse them.
I know, right?
Okay. Doubt me and my predictions. Okay.
But no, all the teams did very, very well today. I will say with the Throwers, that was a pretty quick match with Team Exodus. They tried their absolute best, and that's still something to be proud of.
That is still something very much to be proud of. And congratulations to the Throwers for their glorious win today. And especially from the redemption from last week.
Yeah.
They'll be moving on to the finale, where who knows, it might be a rematch. It might be another rematch.
Never know. It might be. It could come down to it. You never know.
Don't try to put us in the same bracket either, Autumn. Don't do it. Don't do it on purpose. If it happens by random, it happens. But don't do it on purpose. I ain't trying to do this yet.
All right, but that seems to be it for this week's Week 2 Alive by Nightfall Dead by Daylight 8-week qualifier. I have been your host, Henro Stab, and I would also like to thank Console Gaming League for having the opportunity for me to commentate with you, Sai. Like, this has been absolutely incredible and very insightful, so I do appreciate you hanging out with me on the mic today.
It was very entertaining. I kind of want to cast it. I want to see how it would go, and quite frankly, having a chance to actually cast alongside you is actually really fun. I know I am a very awkward person, but it was very, very entertaining.
Not awkward at all. I will say the last points, it was final score. I'm trying to remember.
I believe it was 24-18.
Yes, 24-18 sounds about correct. 18. We're just going to make sure and add up the points. Yep, 24 to 18.
Eyeballing it. Hello.
Going to make sure. We always have to double check and add up the points and everything just to make sure that we have all of the correct ducks in the row. Awesome. Okay. Other than that, I think that's it. Any closing remarks, Sai?
Oh, next week I expect nothing less of excitement. I will not be here next week, but I'm sure that whoever will be here next week will provide the same high energy, and hopefully the games will also be pretty, just as good next week. And if Nurse is banned, I expect Demogorgon.
Exactly.
I expect
I want
Demogorgon.
to see a Demogorgon for sure, and I want to see more Steve mains too. Unfortunately, I will not be here at all next Sunday. I'm going to be with my parents for Easter. But everyone have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Easter holiday, and we will see you next Sunday.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.